So, you're there raising chickens from like little yellow peep thing to big white bird that gets butchered and thrown into frozen dinners and whatnot. And that happens over the course of 7 weeks. At the end of that 7 weeks, they show up to get them. And I don't know if you've ever considered how they get 150,000 chickens.
No, but I've seen Yellowstone.
I don't know what they do on Yellowstone. Do they have one of those machines involved?
Have you never seen that where they usher the herds of chicken across the plains?
With the
Someone tried that at one point and lost a lot of money.
Man, I really thought at least a few of them were going to make it across the
river. Ranching.
He comes by and he goes, "Yo, man, I thought I'd let you know. There's somebody in here that's wanting to get with you." And I sit up in bed, I'm lying down, like reading like this. And I sit up and go, mark place here. Someone's looking to get with me?
I already have a workout partner.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, they looking to get with you. I was like, well, you let them know that I'm not looking to get with anybody. And I won't go down without a fight. I was like, that's not happening. He's like, I'll pass the word on, man, but you watch your ass. I have my original birth certificate. I'm looking at it, and it got sent to me. I had it sent to me the other day, and when I went to tear open the envelope, I tore it.
That sucks. I could see making that mistake.
What'd you just straight through the middle? I'm not paying this bill from the public records department. How many do you have left to get through? Oh my god!
Oh my god! the financial institution says, this is too much for this car. Like she's gonna owe so much more than this car is worth on day one. Like they won't even do it. And I'm like, we'll find out exactly what they will do.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna come in and be be like, you know what? You're the 100th customer. Holy shit! This happens once a month, but $1,100 discount. And she's just like, "Oh, Mr. Kyle, I am so my lucky day, new car, 100th customer." Oh, she was so happy. This is the new DabX. This is the room version.
The room version. You're just gonna slowly sink into your chair and be done.
Yeah.
Why do you have that on?
Selfie.
Dimitri didn't move an inch. He's look at that. That's crazy. An inch. 1 inch was moved. 1 inch was moved. I was smiling at the camera.
Yeah, because in that moment, part of it is like, this is going to be a great clip.
Because she changed to cold mid-cycle, she has confused the washing machine. When they walk back into the laundry room from like this little back porch area, the whole laundry room is flooded. So is the kitchen. And the bathroom, which is attached. Now the bathroom is flooded again. The kitchen is flooded completely. And the entire laundry room, which is a big laundry room, as big as this whole room I'm in, flooded. The whole washing machine is overfilling. And he's like, "The fuck did you do? What have you done now?"
No, you could not survive falling on a fatter man. You'd just die slower and grosser.
Here's the thing. The thing about the elevator where you jump at just the right time? Everyone's had this idea of dealing with an elevator.
The physics don't add up for that.
Why doesn't it add up? I've been told.
Can I do it real quick? So the elevator's falling at 50 miles per hour, right? And you're in it. So you're also... I'm going to get better props. All right, so...
we're tracking with it.
This is the elevator. All right, my vape is you. The phone's the elevator. We're falling at 50 miles per hour.
Hold on. Slow down.
We're falling at 50 miles per hour toward our certain death. We're just about to hit the bottom traveling 50 miles per hour. But you jump at the last second.
Let's pretend for this argument that I'm good at timing this jump.
Yeah.
You're perfect at it, in fact.
Perfect timing.
But you jump at 5 miles per hour
on a good day.
So now you hit the bottom at 45 miles per hour. And
is that the issue? Does it?
All right, what is this one? Hold on. Is the FPS Russian? Hello, my friends. It's FPSRussia again, and I've been watching this television show.
Time out. Hold on. So when I was on the last episode, I remember this nigga saying, I have a YouTube gun channel. Is this what he's talking about? So he has a YouTube gun account where he pretends he's Russian? What the fuck? Somebody go for why? Why, my nigga? What is the what the fuck?
Kyle, I will do tasteful prison suit, and then that way, like, we can do the same thing. Like, you know, like it'll all be good.
There would be no funnier bit than like me and Woody sitting here and being like, all right, now it's time for the 3-minute Kyle catch up. And like,
it's over the phone.
Yeah, it's over the phone.
Hey guys, so we have very limited amount of time here, and I'm sorry the quality is so bad, but let me tell you about this idea I have.
I was promised that you'd fill up my commissary fund, and that hasn't happened.
They found out that we have a Patreon and they're milking me out of all of it. Please help. I've thrown my hat in with the Nazis. I've got a tattoo. I wanted it to be discreet. They made it on my forehead.
They love the accent, boys. I'm going to tell you right now.
It's a huge hit.
It's a huge hit in here. They love the accent.
Turns out the neo-Nazi guys, huge PKA fans.
They love the Kamikaze Kike. I'm like their mascot now. I finally found my audience.
Somehow we bridged the gap between the weirdly like aggressive Japanese inmates and the Nazis, and now we're just all friends.
We have a powerhouse now. Now that I've got the Asians and the Nazis together, we have a conglomerate, and we are moving. It's incredible the unity that I have brought to the prison system with the Kamikaze Kike, and frankly, I don't want to come back.
That would be funny.
If, like,
you know how Red from the Shawshank Redemption got let out after like 65 years and he couldn't handle it and he wanted to go back, so he tried to commit more crimes. It'd be so fucking funny if like you're sentenced for 90 days and by the end of it you're like, I can't leave. I can't leave. I don't remember what it's like out there. Like,
yeah, it might be something like that. It'll be fun. I really don't care.
It'd be fun.
It's gonna be such great stories.
You really the second you're out, PKA is gonna just explode with like you're gonna have to segment day 1, day 2. You're gonna need to keep a journal so you can be like
great stories.
So let's just talk about day 1 today, and then next week is day 2, and you have content for 15 years. Like
great stories. Yeah. It's gonna be great stories. I'm really hoping that I get a little bit of rejuvenation time. We'll call it that.
Just a little bit of just enough to wet myself. Just wet the whistle. Appetite a bit.
Yeah, fall of this year. I might
time off at summer camp.
I might be getting a little time off this fall. I'm not too concerned about it. I think it'll be an interesting little chapter in my life, and it'll make for great stories. And I've always said,
my biggest thing is you do it for the story. Like even if it's unpleasant when it's happening, you look back and you're like, I have so many
no. You can do the community service. Nope.
Put me in there. How many days was it? Put me in. Just
plug
me into the Matrix. I'm ready to go.
A few months in a minimum security federal detention center or whatever they call it these days. It's gonna
be putting. You're not getting stabbed. They wouldn't put you with the real danger.
No, it's minimum security. It's not even gonna be that bad. It's gonna be fun.
Try and escape. They'll tack on another year, and then you have better stories.
All right, just chill out with that. We're gonna try to escape. Prison. I'm gonna find a hobby.
I'm sorry. I mean, I actually escaped. Not...
no, I won't do that. But I think if that happens.
Kyle Myers was only serving a 90-day sentence. 75 days in, he broke out.
This is
now he's in here for 14 years.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it doesn't concern me that much. I I think it'll make for interesting stories, frankly, if I do have to do something like that. And
dude, if you have to do it, me and Woody will keep the show running. We'll bring a third host on and wait for you to get out of prison. It's gonna be great.
Of course, yeah. Tucker will be happy to fill in.
No, stop.
Maybe I'll commit a
Every
crime
day.
in
I
Georgia.
swear to God,
and
your fan base is the most rabid shit ever. I love them to death. It's like half my audience now. But I'll be sitting down and somebody's like, "Hey, what do you think about being like a fourth host?" And I'm like, "I've been a guest 17 times now. I think I'm good just being a guest every 3 months, and we're working on it." Somebody's like, "Yeah, Rape Squad Killers," and I'm like, "I have real sponsors. I can't repeat what you
Yeah. Don't do that.
like,
No.
Like I can't say that.
And to any of our fans who are listening, which is everyone who's listening, I guess,
So
we are no longer the Rape Squad Killers because that doesn't sell. Okay, a wink and a nod to between us all, but we're the real sweet kids. Just go with that. It's funner that way.
we are the real sweet kids.
We're the real sweet kids.
They are the real sweet kids. I'm not part of that group.
Chiz made a good point. Chiz is like, you haven't even told the stories about when you were in jail. And those are some of my favorite stories ever. It's like,
do you have any that you would feel comfortable saying right now?
I think,
I don't want to put you on the spot. I was just
curious. I don't know. I kind of want to save them. I don't know. And like do a whole like I got hours of silly.
Do you got just like a tease for us? Like a
oh man, eggs were a commodity. Eggs, hard boiled eggs.
I never take that story back. And
hard-boiled eggs were a commodity. Okay, like food would come, and it was. I was only in for like 3 or 4 days or something like that. But it's rough, and everybody was like, "I've been in prison. This is rougher than prison. This is awful." He's like, "In prison, we get to go outside for like 2 hours a day. We get this, we get that, we get that." He's like, "You see that cooler of water over there? We had to strike for that. There was a hunger strike to get that water." And I'm just like, shit. All right. Well, I'm glad y'all did that for me.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys one time.
Solidarity, brothers. And like it's like mixed. It's white guys, black guys. We're all wearing our orange jumpsuits, which are a little itchy, by the way. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm sure they don't have fabric softener thrown in.
I doubt it. A lot of starch. Yeah.
The beds fucking suck. And they're like, I've been in prison. The beds are so much better. Beds are so much better. I'm like, yeah, this bed does kind of, it's like this thin, like roll up, like pad you throw onto like a metal bed. And the pillow is so thin that you've got to like fold it twice to get a pillow, like enough pillow to put your head on. And
is it cold?
Oh, it's cold. Oh, it's cold in there. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. But then it'll get hot, and there's no way to get cool again. So I've got like my orange jumpsuit buttoned down to like my belly button with like my chest hair hanging out, and I'm sitting over there like.
And now you're worried about being too attractive for yourself.
No, that's not an issue. That's not even
tying it up like a Britney Spears look.
Yeah. Oops. No, I didn't shit the whole fucking time. Like I've been there for 4 days, haven't taken a shit. Because the food is so awful. Someone said that they had like a 37 cent a day like budget for each prisoner's food, and I was like, I believe it. What was
the food like? Like, what kind of shit did you get served?
I feel like prison. It was gruel, gruel all day. It was breakfast would slop. Breakfast was oatmeal with nothing in it, just kind of spattered onto a tray. A hard-boiled egg. There's hard-boiled eggs at every meal. Hard-boiled egg. There was like 2 sausage links that were like your pinky finger, and they were all like dried up and gross as fuck. And
I'd rather
they were the best
overcooked thing. Yeah,
they were the best part of breakfast. That's what I ate. Some days there were grits, some days there were oatmeal. I preferred the grits because you can salt.
Shout
and
out
pepper
grits.
those.
Yeah,
you can salt and pepper those, but there was no sugar or butter or anything like that for the oatmeal.
Yeah,
every meal had the same beverage. It was Kool-Aid. Okay, you had Kool-Aid in a very small cup, and it was like, this is my cup of Kool-Aid for the next 6 hours. Once it's gone, it's gone.
They don't have free refills in jail?
No. So it's like, there's a little. I think it's berry. Is that berry? I hear grape. I hear tomatoes grape. Sipping on our fucking Kool-Aid. Prisoners are all cool as shit, right? Like everybody's cool as shit. There's one child molester in the group though, and we all know who he is, right? Word gets passed around. That old motherfucker down there, and because there's like levels, and I'm up in the high level. Like I wanted to get up high because it was cooler up there. Not like temperature wise. It was cool. It was like being in the back of the bus in high school.
Yeah,
Just the highest stuff possible. Yeah.
In prison for 3 days and you're working out clicks.
Absolutely.
He's gonna be fine. That's what I'm saying. He's gonna be fine.
Oh, yeah.
People were giving me candy bars and shit. Like, hey Kyle, you want a Snickers bar? You want them Three Musketeers? Snickers. They're hooking me up with candy bars. I'm like, you want me to put some money in your commissary fund when I get out? And he's like, nah, I got plenty.
Dude, don't they say that in jail where they're like, don't take candy because somebody's going to come to you and be like, hey, now you owe me your asshole?
I think they do say that, but this was jail, so not prison. So this guy was like,
okay.
Nah, man, I just got plenty of candy bars. You remember me, right?
Honestly, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just got extra candy
I'm in here
bars.
for a DUI. I just really
Everybody's in there for the same shit. Like almost like there's a child molester. There's one guy that I was in the initial holding
You
cell
molested
with.
kids?
Yeah, he got caught with an 8-year-old girl with her panties down. He was. There was one guy who was not me.
No, you did not me. You just said everybody.
You know what I was
the
in
same
for.
shit, and then you're like, yeah. So there's a child molester.
No. What I said was they were all in for the same. 99% of them in there are for marijuana or methamphetamine, and so everybody's just kind of got the same like, yeah, I don't know, fuck me, right? Bernie Sanders, 2020. Everybody's kind of got that attitude. But there's the one guy that I was initially brought in with, and he and I are in this cold ass holding cell, just chilling together, waiting to get processed and put in. And he's like 42 years old or something like that. And I'm talking to him like what'd you do? Well, they said I was stealing out of my neighbor's shed. I was like, well, what were you doing? He's like, I was stealing out of his shed. I was like, how'd they catch you? He's like, well, they caught me breaking into his shed. I was
like, open and shut case here.
I was like, what'd you tell him? He's like, I ain't told him nothing yet. I don't know what to say. I'm like, tell him you needed to borrow a shovel or something like. He's like, yeah, I'll tell him I needed to borrow a shovel. Mikey will believe that. He'll tell him he'll call off the hounds. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna do well in here. I'm gonna get half these guys off. These guys are retarded.
You just have like common sense takes, and everybody's like, you talked to Kyle yet? He's sage as a motherfucker.
It's gonna be like, give me your Kool-Aid, your little 3 ounces of Kool-Aid, and I'll get you out of jail.
I got a big pile of eggs in front of me. Just a hat full of eggs. Just a hat full, like 3 dozen hard-boiled eggs in a lineup.
And you're sitting on like a couple of Twinks on all fours with your leg up, and you're just eating hard-boiled eggs.
Tell me again.
If you want my advice, it'll be 6 ounces of what is today's special? Berry. Jeez, I don't know. So we're
that's my entire berry allocation.
So one day we got.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
One day we got rec time. Right, we get to go outside and play basketball in a cage, and so we're out there playing basketball in a fucking cage, and I don't want to play basketball. Whatever. I'm sitting on the sidelines just chilling with like 3 other guys, and we're watching some of the other guys play basketball because there's like a Nurse Ratched in there who's like, no aggressive play. He's like, we can't even do layups. What? She wouldn't allow layups. She
was like, no body. Don't get aggressive.
She's like, you can play horse or you do free throws, and that's it. And it's like, I was like, well, I don't even want to fucking play. Good God, what the fuck? So there's like 3 black guys over there playing horse. They can't fucking lay up. It's lame. Excuse me.
Okay, Rick.
Yeah, I haven't had anything to eat.
You wouldn't believe how terrible prison was, Morty. We couldn't even have any layups. It was a horse.
And so, like, me and these other 3 guys are sitting there chilling, and one of the guys that hooked me up with the candy bar that I kind of knew from the outside, and another guy, and another guy that I went to elementary school with, and actually played like little league baseball with. And he's a black guy. He's been reading his Bible the whole time, all solemn and shit. Was fucking flipping through that thing over there, reading up. Also weed. And the guy that gave me the candy bar, he's a white dude, and he's about my size, I guess. And I knew him. Like he's like the boyfriend. It's like I got a friend, and that friend has a sister, and that sister dated this guy. Like okay. I saw him around, enough to know his name. And like, you know, I'd hung out with him, not like go to his place and hang out, but like I'd been with my friend, he'd been around, and we chilled out and like talked outside and stuff like that. Like, I knew him. And so me and these two guys are sitting there, plus a third guy who's one of the black guys that I had met in there, who's a nice guy too. And somebody's like, "See that motherfucker?" I'm like, yeah, that old creepy dude. Yeah, you know what he's in for, huh? I don't know shit, man. We've been here 2 days. I'm hoping they get us some peanut butter tomorrow, though. I'm hungry. He's a child molester. He was pretending to be a plumber, and the guy caught him with his daughter in the bathroom with her panties down, 8 years old. And I was like, fuck. It's like, yeah, we're gonna get that motherfucker. I was like, yeah, I don't like that shit. Like, I'm already like,
you're wearing like, if I get a couple punches in, that's like what, 2 weeks? Like, is it worth it? I get a punch or child molester? Like, yeah.
No, I'm not looking to do anything, but I'm going along. I'm like, yeah, I hate that shit. That's bullshit. Everybody else is in here for some regular old shit, you know. Bill over there stole a shovel, or at least you tried to. He's a failed shovel thief, and you had a blunt in your car, and you had meth, right, Steve?
Yeah, Steve, you deserve this one.
You look like it was meth. Yeah, it was meth. But this guy over here, this creepy motherfucker, he's in for child molestation. And like, I got released like the next day, but they were plotting to get that guy. But I don't think anything was going to happen. It was more like, fuck that guy. He's a piece of shit. Don't talk to him. And like, don't share eggs with him or anything like that.
don't share
I don't
eggs
know
with
if you were
a
trying
pedophile. Do people bully the pedophile? Like, that's my egg now.
Nah, there's nothing like that. Nah, nobody was aggressive or mean or anything. Everybody was just kind of like dealing with their own experience, right? Everybody had kind of seemed to have the same attitude. And it wasn't necessarily because everybody was only in there for a day or 2 days. Some of those guys had been in that jail for months because they couldn't get bail. Not because they couldn't necessarily afford it, because a bail bondsman is like 10% of whatever your bail is. And unless you've done some crazy shit, bail is like 10, 20 grand. So you just need like a few $100s to get out most of the time. This guy, he was like, look, I'm no expert in the criminal justice field, clearly. But this guy, he was like, you know, if you ever make it up to Boston, Massachusetts, you're free and clear. They got no extradition in Massachusetts. That's where I was trying to go last time they got me. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I was trying to. That's why they won't give me no bail. I tried to escape. I run for it. They gave me bail, and I was gone. Boom! I was out. I was halfway up to Boston, and they caught me, and now they won't give me no bail. I'm like, well, how long until your court day? Oh shit, August or something. It was like 6 months from then. I'm like, how long have you been in here? He's like, about a month and a half or so. It ain't so bad though. You know, they feed us pretty good. Can I have one of your eggs? And I was like, yeah, man. I don't like hard-boiled eggs. He's like, oh, you will. You will. Cracking it open like Gollum. So thankful for this egg. Like Gollum.
Dude, the fact that they're like just enjoying hard-boiled egg. Arguably the least tasty way to make an egg.
Yeah, I make that shit when I'm like not trying to get up in the morning and do anything. I'm just like, well, it's in the fridge. Like, better pop a couple of these in my mouth and I'm good.
Yeah.
Like,
oh,
nobody's like, thank God for this.
Were eggs the main bartering food?
I think candy bars probably would have been. There wasn't any bartering really going on. It was just that, like, the thing about the egg was it's hard boiled, so it'll keep. Not for days, obviously, because it's a fucking egg. But like, you can have an egg at breakfast, and you can put it in your little container. We all have like these little plastic containers where all of our shit goes into. That's our container. And like, you know, if you need a snack later, grab your egg, and you got your egg. It's not like there's power bars floating around necessarily. So it's like you can't save your oatmeal. Right? You can't save shit like that. But your hard-boiled egg, that's good till lunch. You can have a big lunch if you're not into breakfast, you know?
What was the big shit you could get at the commissary that everybody wanted? Like, what kind of options do they have there?
I was told there was like Kool-Aid powder and all the candy bars you could want. But like I wasn't in there long enough to like be concerned with that. You didn't get
to dip into that.
No, and like my prison number didn't work on my bracelet or whatever, and that's how you like do all that shit. So like I didn't know how to make phone calls for like the first day or two, and I didn't know how to, and so that would have also been used, I think, to like get into the commissary and like buy stuff. But I had no idea how any of that worked, and I didn't feel like asking. I was just like, hopefully I'll be at her, soon. Get this, get out of here.
Right. Yeah.
Jesus, what was dinner like? Or like lunch and dinner, same shit. Like
it was this bologna sandwich for lunch that was the most anemic, thin sliced bologna on this gross ass.
It was
bread.
like a half slice of bologna, but horizontally half sliced.
Yeah, it was like you took a normal slice of bologna and split it. It was absurd. It was terrible. And potato chips. That was lunch.
All right, well, that's not so bad.
That's it.
Do they even give you condiments?
I don't remember condiments.
How do you eat 1,000 calories a day if you're eating 200 for meals?
Oh, I lost about 15 pounds. I lost a considerable amount of weight because I didn't eat. I just slept most of the time. Like I was like, let's just sleep through this nonsense,
Right.
I was like, wake me if they need me, and occasionally they would. I'd have to do a thing, but like for the most part, I just like slept and like wrapped up. I took my pillowcase off the pillow and wrapped it around my head like as a blindfold, and just slept as much as I could to like just nap through this whole thing. And I'm pretty good at day sleeping. I can sleep a day away.
You can knock it out. Yeah,
I knocked that right out. And we had television. I forgot that we had a TV with CNN on, and we could pound loudly on the plexiglass and be like, channel 32. Do it. But he'd be like, I've already changed it once this hour. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude, you're literally operating a remote control and you're in a bunker over there. Like, what else are you doing? Like,
what a fucking douchebag.
Didn't want to change the fucking channel. And but
what were
the
shows they wanted to watch?
There was some reality
Days of Our Lives.
Prison Break.
No.
Yeah.
Like mostly CNN, because the Korean Missile Crisis was going on, and Kim Jong-un was occasionally like launching missiles over Japan and shit like that. So that was like the news of the day, and we were all pretty into that and discussing it.
And what else are you gonna do?
And then at night, like at prime time, they play like the local news, and because some of these guys would be on it. And then they would play like Dancing with the Stars or something like that, like some reality show nonsense. And but I mostly it's mostly CNN, the way I remember it.
Doesn't sound so bad.
Jail doesn't sound nearly as bad. Maybe I'll stop in sometime.
That's what I was like. Maybe I'll just try and see what's up. Maybe I'll make some stories of my own.
Yeah, maybe I'll loiter a little too long somewhere and find myself.
I don't know. I feel like I'm not built for jail.
Oh, you're built for it, my friend.
I'm built for it, but not in the way that I want to be built for jail. You know what I mean?
Well, you're a runner. Perfect.
They're like, hey, Twinks are in this season, huh? I'm like, yeah.
We had the way I remember, we had 2, maybe 3 showers, and they were like in the cell block. Like there wasn't somewhere you went to shower; it was like there. And then there's like 2 or 3 toilets by that with like a little cubicle wall between them. But I was like, I'm not that dirty, and I do not have to shit. I'm just gonna chill.
You didn't shower or shit for 4 days?
3.5 days. Yeah, about 3.5 days.
The fuck?
And I had not showered the day that I went in. It was
That's gross. You should be put back in there for that.
But I'm in air conditioning the whole time. I'm not sweating. I didn't stink on it. I got home and I was like, do I need to shower? Nah. No, I showered. I showered immediately.
Yeah. I showered immediately and I had a nice shit. Yeah.
I don't remember if I shat because I just hadn't been eating. I just hadn't been eating anything the whole time I've been in there.
If you're not eating, then it makes kind of...
Yeah, I had just had a little bit of oatmeal. Like I literally have like 2 bites of oatmeal. I'm like, that's enough. Because I'm not burning any calories either. I'm just sitting, all day, just sitting watching TV and sleeping, and talking to those guys because they're. It sounds weird to say they're nice guys, but they really were. They were all in there for, most of them were in there for nonsense things. Almost all of them were non-violent things. And like one of the guys, like literally the one guy, he's like, I had a blunt in my car, and the other guy was like, yeah, I had a little meth in my system, and I was just like, yeah, okay. I was like, yeah, right here.
You're also taking these guys' word for it.
Well,
I only had a blunt. Well, to be fair, it was weed that was going to be rolled into a blunt, and by blunt I mean 2,000 to 4,000 blunts because it was 10 pounds.
Well, like the thing about it was like they had no reason to lie to me because like we're like in a cell block in a corner, like locked up, and they would tell me other things, And I was just like, what if they think this is good for credit? Can I tell somebody about this stuff? No, but they would, they would tell me stuff that they were gonna do in the future, and I was like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
He's like, when I get out, I'm gonna do this and that. I'm like, no, don't.
Bad idea.
I don't think you're shaped up for a life of crime because you're here.
Well, we've all failed out very early in our criminal careers. We won't make it. We're not going to make it in Oz. We're going to get a swastika tattoo on our asshole on the first day.
He's like, when I get out, I'm gonna do that. I'm like, no, don't do that, man. That's worse. That's worse than what you're in here for. Don't do that. He's like, is it? I'm like, yeah, don't do that. Just they all had bright ideas about the future and the things they were going to do when they got out.
Did they have like checkers or chess or cards or anything you could do?
Cards. They had poker, but you couldn't gamble. And
poker without gambling is boring.
And there's no cigarettes in there. So it made me think back to Rounders when like Edward Norton's character did not smoke, and yet he would gamble with cigarettes, and like he gets released and he's got all their cigarettes, and he walks out and he's like, "Come on, man, you don't even smoke." And he's like,
yeah.
And like as soon as he gets outside the gate, he tears the cigarettes in half and throws them away. Like he's such a piece of shit. He's like, winner takes all. Yeah, there's nothing to gamble with in there except for eggs, I guess, and nobody's gambling.
I love it. Gambling with eggs, incredible.
Yeah, we didn't have enough eggs to gamble with, so yeah, there was no real gambling to be done. It was mostly just CNN. It
sounds boring. Doesn't even sound like remotely enjoyable.
No, I think
it doesn't sound bad. It just sounds boring. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what it is. It's extreme boredom. And there was a lot of chatting. I'd talk to these guys about what they were doing and what they'd been doing, and like. Especially the guy that I went to elementary school with or whatever, and used to play like little league baseball with, and just talking to people about what just talking. There's nothing else to do.
Because what else the fuck are you gonna do?
Nothing to do.
Damn,
pretty boring. But again, I made for a couple of good stories here, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's of note that we did in there. I don't think so. The whole thing was silly. Oh, I'll wait till Taylor gets back to talk about do we have any more ads, Chiz? Am I skipping anything? I don't think so. Yeah. There were yeah, I think I did. There were a few different guards, and they'd be on shifts, right? So we get to meet them all throughout my stay anyway. And I got to learn like which ones are liked and which ones are disliked.
Like, what makes a good guard versus like ones that just like reciprocate friendliness, or like
some of them are just jerks and like kind of abuse their power. They're just rude or whatever, or like they won't change the fucking. We're talking about. Oh wait, till he gets his headset on. Where I was talking about the guards and like the different hierarchy of the guards. Like there was one guy that they called Barack Obama because he was like a clean cut black guy who kind of sounded like Barack Obama, I guess. And I immediately made him my friend. I was like he had to take me somewhere and like bring me back. And I was like, all the other guys in there, they got a lot of respect for you. He was like, for real? Like, yeah.
For real? Do you really mean that?
Do they like me? Yes, Barack. I said, they call you Barack Obama. They admire you. They say that you're firm, but fair.
Well,
like,
I was born in Kenya.
It's like, wait, what?
He's like, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. That's nice. But then there was like a white lady who was just the worst person ever. She's just so rude. Just like, you up there in that bunk bed. Get down here. You sleep down here. This guy's sick. He needs to be up there where it's warm. And I was like, fuck you. I've been in this bunk bed for 48 hours now. This is my bunk bed. And I was all right, go downstairs and sleep in the cold. And like, but then she gets off, and I'm like, I go back upstairs. And I'm like, hey, I want my bunk bed back. And the guy was like, all right. I didn't want to be up here anyway. Like, yeah,
I heard you were messing with my friend Kyle's bed. I'm here for it. Yeah. Oh man,
I love it.
That's really fucking funny. It seems like was she fat? I picture fat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm
Chucky
right on board.
Typical. Give them an inch and they'll take a mile.
Yeah, where it's like she had to feel like overcompensating the whole time of like, they all know they can take me, so I got to be twice as cunty to, make it to be authoritative.
Yeah. I had these shackles on at one point, like full crazy shackles, like I was Hannibal Lecter. And the guy's like, hey, they had to like move me somewhere. And the guy's like, all right, chill right here. And he put me in like this little cell. I got to do a little bit of paperwork and then I'll grab you and then we'll go to where we're going. And like, but he didn't like lock one key lock on my full like shackly thing. So I was able to like slide everything out and be completely free again. So when he opened the door, I was like holding all the chains and cuffs in my hands. I was like, I'm not Houdini or everything, but I am free. And he was just like, what the fuck? Oh, Chiz asked, Kyle, were you wearing anything particular the day you were brought in? Yes, I was. I had on a pair of novelty underwear.
Were they MeUndies?
No, they were not. Because MeUndies does not make a pair of underwear with an elephant face on the front and a trunk to put your cock in.
You were wearing that in prison?
Yeah, I'm wearing these yellow boxer briefs with an elephant's face on the crotch, and his trunk is my cock. Like it goes down into like a whole like trunk with my cock in it. And so like when I was first like getting into my jumpsuit or whatever, I was like, you're supposed to be naked in there, or maybe in your underwear. I don't remember which, but I was like, hey man, I wore some silly underwear. You think I could just keep my basketball shorts on over here and just nobody will know? He's like, what are you in for? I told him. He's like, you'll be out in a day or two. Yeah, no worries. Don't worry about it. That's more for people who's gonna be up in here. And I was like, cool. So I had like, and so, but then when I was like getting,
so you had your cock in an underwear elephant trunk, unshowered for almost 4 days.
Yes, yes, I did.
That's so vile. It probably smelled horrific.
I burnt that underwear. Like never again. Nobody would have cared if they'd seen the underwear. I'm telling you, this is a bunch of country dudes who are just like in there for fucking DUI and pot and meth and a little bit of shovel stealing.
Yeah, and then the one rapist.
And that one child
rapist.
But it was like clear right away that everybody was like, hey, we're in here for some like normal, regular, like dude shit that people just, people do sometimes. That guy's a fucking scumbag, though. What's he doing in here with us? There was definitely they did not want him in there. It was interesting, it's fun stories. I remember like long ago when like Woody and I would talk about how like there was a bunch of young commentators, like especially like early in the YouTube thing, and there'd be like really young guys, and I'd be like, those young guys, they don't have anything over on you and I because we've lived lives already. Like we've already done a decade worth of real world adult man shit. And in your case, 2 decades of adult, like real man shit. Like they don't have our stories and experience if they're 15 years old and like, hey, so I'm doing good at Call of Duty again, guys. I
think
Mom says I gotta wrap this up soon, so all right, just watch the video, let it wrap up later. All right, but this little nonsense that I've been caught up in, I think it makes for good stories. It's fun. It's seasoned me as an individual.
it'll be different than the county jail though.
Yeah, for
supposed to be better.
Hopefully,
yeah. Back.
Oh, super.
But
dangerous.
I literally can't talk about anything, and I bring it up every single time. Can't talk about anything without and how crazy you are, other than the door flying by you. That truck door that flies right by you. I think about that shit like whenever I'm like, this is crazy. It's crazy that like this fucking breaking the glass to eat is like this truck door flew by you. Like it was so close. And you stood there and didn't move an inch. Dimitri didn't move an inch. He's a look at that. That's crazy. An inch. 1 inch was moved. 1 inch was moved. I was smiling at the camera.
Yeah, because in that moment, part of it is
crazy.
like, this is going to be a great clip.
Yeah. My only thought in that moment is did that hit anybody behind me? Because there's 8 people there or something like that. There's like a high speed photographer.
Who else did it miss? How close? It must have been close to the cameraman.
We had new cameramen there that day. I had like 3 or 4 high speed guys working that day that I had only used that one time. That I had never met them before. Like this is their introduction to what we do here, and it's my great hope that they're going to want to work with me more. You know what I mean? I'm selling myself as much as they're selling themselves. I'm hoping we forge a relationship because they're like 40 minutes away and they do high speed shit, and Richard Ryan is like in LA. So that door went by them, and the guy just went, "Holy shit!" And I'm just like, "Is everybody okay?" And it's yeah, but there was
like, "We're leaving," and Gator was like,
"Work with you again."
I got it.
No, no, they were $5,000 a day anyway. It was
and that's something like that's considered a faux pas. In that they consider that an oversight.
Oh, this is my favorite story.
See, that's
I don't know if I can tell it.
Oh, well, yeah, you can tell it. Yeah, but that's not the exact moment.
I think you've told this story on the show.
Zach, if you want to find the clip from the actual video where the gun goes up into the air, like if you can find that moment, but tell it, Woody.
I get so FPSRussia shooting the gun. It's this fully automatic. It shoots big old rounds.
Yeah,
and
right.
I don't know how far does a round go, Kyle. 5 miles.
That's 7.5 miles.
7.5 miles.
So crazy. How big is it, by the way?
40 millimeter. The bullet is about as long as your forearm is. It's about, if you like 40 millimeter grenade launcher. This is a 40 millimeter anti-aircraft gun. It was on battleships and stuff. It was one of the smaller armaments. There you go. Yeah.
Can you mute it? So there's a dial on the side near his knee, and I guess you're supposed to hold that while you operate the gun, but he didn't know that. Hopefully I'm telling all this right.
Yeah.
And by not holding it, every time the gun fires, it kind of goes a little higher, little higher, little higher, little higher. So FPSRussia shoots it and they get a really good take, and it's pretty badass. And then after the camera stops, he's like, "Why is it pointing up now?"
Oh, I knew why it was pointing up. I said, "Where the fuck did that go?"
and then I just
see that's
shot.
one.
You see it went up a little bit. And then he's like, "What's over there?" And I think the answer was Nashville or something like that.
It was like horse farms.
Something
horse
like that.
farms.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Listen, I know it's weird because it was like my heyday too. But like, I think I would say this anyways. This is peak YouTube right here.
Yeah.
This is like peak YouTube.
So there's I did some editing there, right?
Yes, I saw.
Because the gun barrel went it hit the barrels, then the second shot cut a tree in half. The third shot hit the top of those trees, and then the fourth or fifth or whatever went off into the distance, miles and miles away. But obviously, I edit the impacts of them just like hammering home safely and the dirt berm and everything.
That video there, and you're like about to shoot the mannequin, and you're like, "Wait, put an afro on it." They're like, "Why, Kyle?" And you're like, "Shut up and put an afro on it."
I can remember consoling in Kyle. So when I was never as big as you guys, but when I was at my own peak, everybody hated me. There were channels dedicated to just tearing me down, and it sucked. And I remember I was talking to Kyle once. And I'm like, "Man, like it's kind of rough over here. Everyone's giving me a hard time." And he's like, "Here, look, I'm getting the details wrong, but he's like, I'm Soldier of Fortune's unsafe operator of the month." I was like, all right, I'll follow your lead.
Yeah, I was they named me the irresponsible gun owner of the day. And so
you're like, that's the point.
So I made a shirt that said irresponsible gun owner and sold thousands of them.
Nice. That's how you win.
I don't know. I lost my ear. They might have been on something. They were mad about like not using safety gear, but part of the joke initially, especially, was I was using gaming headsets instead of ear pro, and I just thought that was so funny. Like, even if nobody got that joke, it tickled me so much to have I would have Tritons on and like shooting machine guns, and then the next week I'd have Turtle Beach. I had every headset. I'd have
like
Turtle Beaches on.
Gunner glasses. Remember that era of Gunner glasses?
I wore those. Yeah, that was another like. This is so funny to wear the.
My normie friends
glasses.
thought Gunner glasses were the funniest things ever. Like they saw it once, like Gunner glasses, and I was like, "Yeah, it's supposed to be good for gaming or something." And that blew my friends away. They were like, "What the fuck?"
I have a friend that today in 2024, like we'll be gaming on Discord, and like sometimes we'll have our cameras on, like chatting, hanging out, and like we'll be about to like start playing AOE or whatever, and I'll see him like put on his fucking yellow tinted like
yeah.
And I want to be like, you're such a normal guy. Like,
are they still in business?
Yeah.
I don't think they're
did you ever meet with those
something
people?
like
Me? Yeah. I have a big beef with them.
Oh no! Did
With
they not
Gunner?
pay you?
They interrupted him.
No, here's
Interrupt
what
me
happened.
once.
So I'm like 38 at this point or something like that. And I'm in the you remember that $1 million contest they had? I was in the first one. And when you all the contestants got like a goodie bag or something. So we're in this long line, me and all the kids who are, playing this game. And I wait and like whatever, like 6 minutes later, it's my turn and they're like, no. And I'm like, what? And they're like, it's just for contestants. And I'm like, I am a contestant. And it like non-verbally, it was like, whatever, Dad, you're not getting a goodie bag. And that was that. Like they just wouldn't believe that I was
so annoying about that is all those kids at that Call of Duty tournament all became millionaires. Multi-millionaires, like FaZe Clan stocks and all that jazz, and 100 Thieves and whatnot. And those little fuckers got the gunners and you didn't.
That's why they got so good with the gunners.
So they like later I was like, all right, forget it. Like I'm no longer a fan of gunners. I'm off. They're not cool to me anymore. And they to say they begged is just fucking true. They begged to get me back on.
Eh?
And I was like,
I don't know if that will suffice as an apology.
No,
I want my goodie bag.
I was embarrassed,
and
humiliated in front of Optic
they're like,
Nugget.
Please, and I'm like, no, we will never work together again. And I stuck to it. So I turned down.
I 360 no scope. It's going to be with my own.
You gave
eyeballs.
White Boy 7th Street a bag. We're done here.
No, he wasn't in it.
It's a little different. Like I've. I fucked some people over a lady came in and we sat down before she even got to go on the lot, and what are you looking for? Do you want? And she knew what kind of car, and I don't remember what it was, but let's just say she wanted a 2004 Corolla. So we've got 3 of them, and this one's a 2002, this one's a 2003, and this is a 2004, and I pull all 3 of them up to the door, but before I do it, I change the prices on all of them. I make them all $3 more thousand expensive. So we go out there and I'm like, you know what? This is this one. This is that one. This is these are the differences. This is why they're about $1,000 more for each one. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm in a hurry today. If you want to buy a car today, $3,000 discount across the board. What do you say? And she's just like, holy shit, you're just gonna rip $3,000 off? I was like, if we can do it right now, I gotta get out of here. I got a plane to catch, and I'm not going any fucking where.
I gotta go to the LA Swindlers Convention.
but to his point, like she was so happy with the deal she was getting and the quality of. She thought she just gotten a great deal, so she was very happy about everything. She loved me this whole way through. She's just like, this young man right here has it. He is a treasure. She's just tickled pink, and she's paid the sticker price. And we had a code built into our sticker prices where the last number in the price, let's say it's 19,991, it's going to be 991, 992, 993, or 994. And that last number is letting me know how much this car has been discounted. It probably came in and we put like $5,000 profit on it, or $4,000. And every time they discount the second number in the price, which is $1,000 off the price, they change the last number too, to give the salesman an idea of how many times it's been discounted. I know we've got at least $3,000 on the front end of each one of these cars, 3 or 4. So I'm doing pretty fucking well already. So she's paying $3,000 to $4,000 profit on the front end, but she thinks she just got $3,000 taken off. kind of put that lady together a little bit. And then there was another lady.
You knocked her head off.
I knocked her head off.
Does knock your head off mean take advantage of someone?
No, I'm not taking advantage.
Make a ton of profit.
It means I did my job well that day.
Seems to mean both.
Potato.
But sales, I'm not going to judge.
I sold a lady a new Focus one time, and I got the sales sheet, and I sat down, and I started. Sometimes I get ahead of myself, and I would just see what I could do, because I feel like you can always ask forgiveness later. You can always say there was a mistake, or, oh, well, that's not supposed to say that, or, they expect the price to be a little iffy. So I just blacked out what my manager wrote, and I told her that it was an extra $2,000 as we sat down, and she agreed to it, and it was a new Focus. And I go back up there with a signature. My manager's like, did you just sell a Ford Focus at a premium? Did you just sell a Ford Focus for $2,000 over sticker price? I was like, I sold permaplate too, which is this bullshit fabric. And
what is permaplate?
Permaplate was a lie. I was told we didn't even put it on the cars, but we would sell it for, I think, $695. And essentially it's a warranty against stains and like acid rain spots and bullshit like that. And I never saw anyone ever come in and be like, hey, I bought the permaplate, stain right here on my seat, fix it. Never happened once. But for $695, we would sell that stuff to you. And I had this whole kit on my desk where I'd stain a little swatch of fabric, and I'd spray some shit on, just wipe it right off, coffee or whatever. Usually coffee, because we got the coffee maker right there. I'd just pour the coffee on it, be like, this has permaplate on it. This doesn't. And that would sell people for $700 of just extra gross. So like I sold her so high over sticker that they wouldn't even finance it at that. Like, she got into finance, and they were like, the financial institution says, this is too much for this car. Like she's going to owe so much more than this car is worth on day one. Like, they won't even do it. And I'm like, we'll find out exactly what they will do.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to come in and be like, you know what? You're the 100th customer. Holy shit. This happens once a month, but $1,100 discount. And she's just like, oh, Mr. Kyle, I am so my lucky day, new car, 100th customer. Oh, she was so happy. She was so happy. That was the same lady who told me, she was like, it was nearing Christmas, and she had a kid with her.
In this story, she's gone from Little House on the Prairie to Kimmy's Vietnamese mom.
Oh no, this is a little Spanish lady. Okay. Yeah, and she had her little kid with her, and she said something along the lines of, "But if I pay this much for the car, there can be no Christmas for the children." And I said, "What's a better Christmas gift than a brand new car?" Looking at the kid. I was like, don't you want a new car?
I know when I was a kid, if my mom had a Focus, it would make Christmas.
Yeah. I was like, we talked about that Ford safety sensing system, didn't we? It's going to weigh little Javier and make sure those airbags come out just the right speed. Don't forget. You want to keep his little noggins. And
yes, but Mama, I wanted the Super Soaker this year.
Shut up, Javier. I gave you candy. Javier was sold, though. It went well. That was one of my favorite moments. Just couldn't. My manager's face when I sold that. And I did that also on like the most undesirable car of all time. It was the Ford
CrossFit?
500.
It was like a freestyle, I think. It was the 500 wagon, essentially. It was on like this Volvo chassis that was like lumbering, and it was hideous. It was in this green color too, like this pea green puke.
Rare color.
It was awful. It was awful. And this British guy came in, and I must have
racing color of the UK.
Hello, sir. This seems to complement my teeth.
And like I would always get real hyped up when I sold cars. I would drink a lot. I was drinking a lot of Red Bull. I would go to the gas station. I'd buy 4 Red Bulls. And I would take like those giant, like 40-ounce cups they have, and I'd dump them all in there, and I'd chug it down, and I'd start my day. I wanted to be wired because the guy who trained me was like that. He was this very high energy black guy, and he was loud and boisterous. And he's like, "We're gonna do a car deal today." It was a show and a dance, and I tried to emulate that as like a 19-year-old white boy, and so I did. And so I'm just, when this guy expressed interest in this disgusting car that we all hated and knew was going to be discontinued at any moment. I was like, well, you better snatch this thing up, sir. You better snatch it up quick, because this thing car right here, especially in this color, the lime vomit green color. Oh, it is desirable. I've had 3 calls today. People, I got appointments all weekend. We really need to get this thing wrapped up this week. And he's like, well, I guess I should head on over to the credit union and get a check forthwith. And he does. And I was like, well, we need to work out a price before you can go get your credit union check, And I did the same thing. I bumped the price $2,000, just scribbled it out and wrote it and sold a Ford's most disgusting car of all time, perhaps at a premium. And I just remember my manager being like, you fucked up for this one. I would never do no shit like this to somebody. You fucked up for this one. I sign off on it. But finance ain't gonna do it. I'm like, he's got a credit union. He's like, oh fuck. All right. I'm signing off on it. My hands are washed. And that was all true.
This green Ford that I think you linked, Kyle.
Yeah.
That is horrific.
That's the one.
The Griswolds would buy this thing.
That looks like a very British car to drive for a Ford, though.
He loved it. He loved it so much. Yeah. He came back and bought another car from me after that. He was so pleased. He brought his wife. Like they loved me to death. And I had a good sales pitch for that car. Like just talking about the Volvo chassis and comparing Ford to Volvo for some reason as far as safety, just drawing a parallel there. And I've gone through my bullshit like walk around speech, that I did on every single car that was identical in every single car.
This one comes with the Kevlar belts.
Yeah. These fan belts are made out of Kevlar, the same stuff that make bullet. They are all made out of Kevlar.
You could probably tell people that the windows on their car are bulletproof.
Right. How are they going to go test it?
How are they going to know? If someone tries to shoot them while they're in there, problem solved. Ostensibly, because it's not bulletproof.
Yep, exactly.
My manager was a bit of a criminal himself. He had a different business before he went into car sales, and it was very much an illegal one. But
still sales? Am I getting the vibe right?
Still sales. Yeah,
right. I think even I'm up to speed.
It was so fucked up because as his friends who had all taken the rap for him, this is like an episode of The Wire. As each of his friends would get out of prison they had all taken the rap, he would hire them as salesmen. So like, there's Garrett over there. He doesn't sell a lot of cars, but he gets a lot of cheese deals. It seems like anytime a rapper comes in and needs 5 Dodges, even though we don't sell Dodge here, 5 new Dodges show up and Garrett gets to write those deals up. And there's Greg over there. They make Greg a manager already. Huh.
Now, Greg doesn't speak English.
Right.
And Greg is like, I was running the cook. He told me that was private.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, I was running the cook. And Garrett over there, he was muscle. And I'm just like, what the fuck kind of place is this? Why am I feel like I'm the only one around here who's just selling cars, and that's all.
That's why you were such a favorite. It's like, now, Kyle, that's the kind of guy you don't owe prison favors to.
It was ridiculous because there
the Treese is only here because he stopped me from getting raped in the shower.
Yeah, that's literally the case. Garrett had been in jail so long he'd become a black Muslim. He's over there with his Quran over there. I'm just like,
did he get to wear that cool ass like white sheet with the little helmet?
Nah, he didn't take it.
That looks so comfortable. I'm so jealous of Saudi Arabians that they get to just go around like that.
It was still only like 4 years after 9/11, so everybody was a little sensitive about that sort of thing. We had those 2 Somalian guys. One of them's name was Moses, which is fine. You could be Moses in Atlanta, and everybody will buy from you, especially with that snappy African accent. The other's name was Muhammad, and Muhammad went by Mo. And Mo was a real friendly guy, and he loved to joke about that shit. He was like, "Have you ever seen Black Hawk Down?" And I'm like, yeah, that was me with the RPG. And I'm like,
today we are blowing up prices. It is going to be so good you want to kill yourself.
We have declared jihad on Chevrolet.
We have declared a jihad on high prices.
We are slashing them.
We are cutting the clit off of our profit margin.
We have genital.
How do you top cutting the clit off the profit margin? I think that might be where.
Yeah, those guys were fucking ridiculous. But yeah, that was definitely the case. And so we all hated them. We all hated them because. And 1 month they had it in that they were going to make Garrett Salesman of the Month, which was a big deal. I don't.
Is there money with that or prestige?
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
Mostly prestige though. That's what I liked about it.
You're less likely to be fired the next month.
Oh, it was hard to get fired. I can go into that for a while, but it was hard. They would just quit, because they're paying you commission against your hours. You would go in the bucket, and you would owe them. They don't give a fuck if you sit at one of those desks. There's plenty of desks. Have a seat, young man. Go for it. But to make Garrett Salesman of the Month, it was the fix was in. They were just feeding him. Just in one day, 6 cars, and like it was that instance I mentioned a minute ago.
Is Salesman of the Month just tied into sales, or is it like a judgment call?
It's how many cars you got out.
The volume.
So he's earned Salesman of the Month, except they're all cheese deals, which means they just he doesn't have to.
They've been given to him. He's filling out paperwork.
They're negotiated by management. He gets to do the paperwork, and he gets the little bit of profit that gets assigned to them. But more importantly, he gets the units, which is how you're evaluated.
Yeah, and his commission is rising on each one. So you might get 20%. You might get like 20% commission if you sell one car, but by the time you get to 20, you might be getting 38% or 40% commission on these things. It works out really nicely if you can get out 20 fucking cars. It's hard to do that though, unless you're being fed. And so like Young Jeezy, the rapper, comes in and he wanted 5.
There are a lot of rappers in these stories.
And
I don't know any of them. What did you say, Ed? I talked over you.
Lil Hoodlum.
You're better off for not having to deal with him.
With Young Jeezy. Well, he came in.
Sounds like Ed knows Young Jeezy as well.
He's a little fella.
Yep, they're all
so funny.
All of them. All
you
of
guys
them.
both know Young Jeezy.
And Little Jeezy.
Rhymes.
I could have beat the shit out of Young Jeezy with one arm tied behind my back at 19 years old, and he was a grown ass man, just little punk dude. Anyway, he wanted 5 Chargers. I think the Challenger wasn't a thing yet, so the Charger was like the cool Dodge, and I think you could get him with like a big engine in him, maybe a 6-liter or something like that. In any case. He wanted 5 of these things, one for each of his guys, and he wanted them all the same. So we lost him.
Oh, we lost him.
So Young Jeezy looks kind of tough and badass in it. I assume
he may
Jeezy
have bulked up in the last 15 years.
Well, since 2004,
and he's worth 15 million. Dude, you should. I'm going to link this guy. I hope this works for you.
You're good. He's saying that Young Jeezy has bulked up in the interim period of time.
Dude, look at him. This guy looks
he's
like
gotten bigger.
He would kick my ass. This guy.
He didn't look like that. I promise you.
I'll take Young Jeezy, and I haven't even seen the photo.
I linked it.
He could total a Lamborghini with the best of them. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
Yeah, he killed.
He's 5'9". Yeah, that's what I thought.
5'9" celebrity height is like 5'7" real person height.
Exactly.
He's a little guy. I'm telling you, he's a little dude. Like we were all taking note of it. His boys were large gentlemen, though.
So they just looked big next to him?
No, they looked big next to a Durango.
Okay.
They looked big because they were fucking big. And, I want 5 of these, and we're a corporate store, so we've got every make and model. He just calls the Dodge dealership and gets 5 of these things brought over and sells, and Garrett just doing the paperwork. And we hated this. And I can't think of his name, but it was the African guy who got the car stolen that time. He had the most cars. He maybe had 18. I maybe had 13, and Garrett had like, I don't know, 19 or something. It was like neck and neck. And so I was like, we're not going to have this, dude. We're not going to have this. Saturday's coming up. They're really going to have to feed him because I'm splitting every car I do for the rest of the month with you. And so because I can get my half unit. My other buddy's like, me too. Let's fucking do this. They want to play dirty. We're playing dirty. And nobody's taking note of what we're doing. We just fill out the paperwork, put 2 names on it, and it goes in the system.
So why is that good, right? Like you're getting half a unit instead of a whole unit. Like,
yeah, I'm losing money.
Not just money, but even units, right? When you split a deal, do you both get a unit?
We get half a unit.
So I don't know why.
Mostly spite driven.
This
is spite.
I don't see how it even makes the numbers bigger. Because when you sell a car, you only get half.
He gets 0.5 every time I sell a car.
And
I'm going to sell
his own cars.
Oh wait,
So, yeah, if
you're
Kyle
not
sells two
doing it
cars
for you.
and that
You're
other guy
just
sells
doing
two
it to
cars.
hook up your friend.
Yeah,
He's not
I'm hooking
splitting
him
with
up.
you too.
Yeah,
It's a,
no, he's not.
it's a reverse big score.
Yeah,
I
I'm hooking
understand.
him up with half of everything I do.
I thought
so
you were
is my
both
buddy
splitting.
Saul. So Saul and I are like, let's fucking do this. Let's fucking go hard in the paint here. And we each get out like 6 more cars or something in the last couple days, and 6 more cars go on to our buddy's record. And so CJ, it comes time to count up the cars and figure out who's the salesman of the month. You know, it's rolled over. We've got these big meetings in the morning, and there's 25 salesmen and 4 or 5 managers, and this is the meeting where money gets literally thrown in the air and cash wads of cash get tossed around. Not like thousands of dollars, but hundreds of dollars.
You get a 20. You get a 20.
It'd be wads of ones a lot of the times, you know, just to get the crowd fired up.
To get you excited because it looks like a lot. Yeah.
He's announcing bonuses for like X amount of units and you know all this time based stuff and all these ways that.
Is he doing like the Wolf of Wall Street, like moonwalking across the stage, like getting everybody hyped up, like pulling women's tits out?
I mean, not none of that, but he's getting us fired up, and he's being mean to the people who are underperforming. Like he's shitting on some people, he's pumping other people up, and he's throwing cash money, and he's like, and who was salesman of the month last month? Let's see it. And you could tell like he thinks it's Garrett, and they're like. Garrett with 19 cars. All right, very nice. And I can't think of the other guy's name, but let's just call him Pete, even though he's from Africa. That was not his name.
Bunte, yeah.
Pete had 24 out of Pete in August. Let's hear it for Pete. And he's like, wait, what the fuck? Garrett, you didn't get the most out? What the fuck happened, Garrett? What the fuck happened? Like, man, you know, I gave you 15. Like you only sold 4 cars like on your own in 30 days.
I love that he's shitting on number 2 in this situation.
Yeah, well, it was like
because he wouldn't have been a natural number 2.
I get it. That's why I love it. Yeah,
That's the guy that gave away half his own deals, right? that flies. Like we're not worried about that.
I still ended up with like 16 or something, giving away 3 cars or something like that. I had a great month too, and Saul had we were doing well, you know, and you know my buddy gave me some cash to make up for those deals afterwards, and you know, took me and that wasn't agreed upon going in. That wasn't like, all right, you give me money and I give you cars. There was no deal like that.
This isn't fraudulent.
No, it really it wouldn't be fraudulent even if it were agreed upon because it's some sort of salesman's race and it's all like just a gentleman's bet in most regard, really. But afterwards he was like, that was cool, guys. That was really cool. And he took us out for drinks. He gave me a couple $100. I went to school with a guy all the way from elementary through high school, and we graduated at the same time. And I didn't realize it until maybe a few years out of high school that he had faked not being retarded his whole life. He had somehow flown under the radar as a person who was like, he shouldn't have been in the same classes with everyone else.
Oh, he was retarded and he faked not being. Then he's not retarded.
No. Everyone just thought he was weird. Everyone thought he was silly and funny, and that was his sense of humor. But then it came time when everyone got their driver's licenses, and he couldn't
his said
read.
Play school.
No, he couldn't read. And no one had ever noticed it. He was 16. We were in high school. No one knew that Rick couldn't read.
The teachers are retarded.
Yeah, the teachers
know he can't read. They're pushing him on through the system.
But you know, we spoke about that when I was learning to become a teacher. The like American school system ended up following like the same motto as the U.S. Marines, which was leave no man behind. So they actually don't let you fail. You keep going forward. So
what would be the
that's
point
literally
of
that
you?
person's like a victim of that system, that they're like showing up to school in the 10th grade and they're like, I still never really grasped the 3rd grade.
Yeah. I don't remember anyone failing throughout my like bit through school. And it was always because I always like rode that line between failure myself because I wanted to do as little as possible. That's my style.
And so like I would be calculating like the most difficult part about school was calculating how low I could score on something.
Yeah, all the time. I should have shown them those notes, and they'd be like, you know what, bonus. How about 5 points bonus on that midterm? This is impressive.
Then you're like, oh, I got to redo the math. I got that 5 points.
I lost my train of thought, but yeah, like the whole time, just riding by as low and easy.
No one ever failed. You were saying?
Oh, no one ever failed, including me, because it was my biggest fear. Like I think I've mentioned before. I think I technically did miss too many days. I don't think they should have given me my diploma. It literally came down to my dad being like. It came down to a teacher being intimidated by my dad a little bit and fixing some paperwork and saying that I was there enough days. I'd only missed it by half a day. Like you could miss like 5 days of each class.
Mm-hmm.
To a normal person, they think I can miss 5 days of school. But to me, I'm like, oh, we can mix and match. We could leave early some days. We could come in late some days. I've just got to keep track. And I think what had happened, because I'm going off his paperwork, I just opened his like thing of attendance and go through and count, and like I can miss a whole nother day, so I just didn't show up, and like we
miscounted.
And like got paperwork that said, you don't get no diploma, and and like, but like I know this guy, and like the real world, we shoot together, and I go to the gun club, and I'm like, Mr. So-and-so failed me, and everybody's like, you failed Lamar's boy?
Not anymore, and I want to lose friends over it.
And literally, like first of all, my dad wouldn't give a shit. My mom would be the one upset. My dad would be like, good one. Guess you're going to summer school to make up half a day of shop. That would have been his reaction. But this guy named Bart York, who's this comical Southern guy with a stutter, was like, Lamar Myers, whoop a man's ass over something like this. and like Bart knows what he's doing.
Like this.
Like Bart knows that my dad's not going to whoop anybody's ass. Like certainly not my school teacher. Like, but Mr. So-and-so is starting to like buy into it. And when my dad pulls up, he beats me to my dad's truck. And he's like in the window, hey, we're going to fix this whole thing with Kyle's grades and everything. My dad didn't even know. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Like it was great though. He fixed it, thank God, and I got my diploma, I guess.
So you're technically a high school graduate.
Technically, I am,
and that's all that counts.
That's all that counts.
Yeah, I don't remember anybody failing either. I remember that one guy I went to 8th grade with who on his diploma, it said, thank you for participating in the 8th grade instead of you graduated. But he didn't even get held back. So like the next year,
thank you for participating in the 8th grade.
It was after it was after 8th grade graduation. And I remember I've said it before, and I was talking to him, and he was like, he hated school so much, and like he aggressively was bad at school. And so like we were all chatting afterward. He was like, guys, look at this, it's hilarious. And we're like, dude, Jack, it says that you just participated in 8th grade. He's like, I know, dude. And then like he just like laughed laughing. And then the first day of freshman year, because we were going to the same high school, he showed up. And that's just the way it went. Like he finished high school with us.
I'll give you one better than that. I skipped 6th and 7th grade with no protocol whatsoever. I didn't take 6th or 7th grade.
What did you do?
I worked with my dad. I worked with my dad and hunted and learned to shoot things at long range.
So you just didn't
that is 6th and 7th grade where you live.
Oh yeah, Kyle does not know how to multiply fractions.
He just wasn't in school. Like
let's ask 6th and 7th grade things.
Yeah, I can teach you 6th and 7th grade in a month. By the way, if you ever want it. 1 month.
How about this? 6th and 7th grade questions for Kyle. Kyle, what is the capital of Michigan?
Oh no, Michigan?
It's not Detroit, I guess.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure I know. I should pick the state.
No, I don't know my capitals.
See, really that's 6th grade.
I knew them at one point because I remember going through them, but I don't know the capital of Michigan. Is it Lansing or something?
Yes,
it is.
Oh,
look at that! You didn't fucking need 6th grade.
Yeah. No, when I got back. No 6th or 7th grade, and I got back to start 8th grade, and they're like, "Oh, you just have to take this test." It was just math.
You were gone
Nothing
for
else.
2 years from like other children and stuff in the woods hunting with your dad.
Yeah.
It explains so much.
Yeah. Like no socialization. I was a real fucked up dog getting thrown back into the pack.
Yeah, how was that like? How was that?
That's like better than
grade?
6th and 7th grade. I feel like kids should do that instead.
Oh, it's my favorite time. So they give me this test, and I had been taking like practice tests and stuff to like, get prepped for like this big test we're going to take, because that's going to determine how they place me in the 8th grade. And while I don't need to be in any advanced classes, I don't want to be in any like remedial classes either. I don't want that. So I tried a good bit on the practice test that my mom got me. When I got there, it was the practice test. And I had to make a conscious decision not to ace fucking algebra and geometry. Like
That's a smart decision at your age, by the way.
I was like, I think I can get like a high 90 on this, because I've drawn that fucking cube or whatever so many times now. Like I've done it 3 times before this exact test. I literally decided, like, if I ace this shit, they're gonna put me in. Like I barely know this shit. Just so we're all clear, like
you've memorized it, but you don't understand why those equations get to where they go.
Geometry, I didn't understand graphing because it hadn't been explained to me properly. Which is, who knows whose fault that might have been. I think it was that teacher in 8th grade, actually.
Probably skipping 2 years hanging in the woods.
That could have done it. But yeah, but I can calculate the ballistic coefficiency of a fucking rifle round in a heartbeat, so that's what really matters.
Yeah, well, we all can.
Yeah,
it goes quick,
I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna really need that skill going forward. No, I like that I did that. I think that did make me a different kind of person, because I was hanging out with adults all day, right? Like I was not hanging out with kids at all. I was hanging out with like my dad's friends and associates. And there were times when I was like 13 and like running a crew of like Mexican guys, like me on a tractor, and them like shoveling stuff into it as I tell them what to do. And meanwhile, I feel like my compatriots over at Franklin County Middle School were probably like fucking finger painting or some shit in art class. I don't know.
Was there an aspect of jealousy? Because I imagine if I had to go to school and then some guy showed up 8th grade day 1, it's like, you just skipped the last 2 years? Are you kidding me? Like, were people like, what the hell? Like, that was awesome. What was that like? I would have been so fascinated. Someone just skipping 2 years of school and showing up.
I have no memory of like big parts of that time. I'm not really sure what the memory, what the reaction was for me coming back, or if there was one.
Blackout drunk fixing cars with my dad.
No. I remember all that really well, but like I don't remember what going back to school was even like. I know they put me on Adderall pretty quick, so it couldn't have gone too well. I think that's a sign. But I don't really remember a lot of that too well. It couldn't have gone well. Like popping back after being gone for 2 years, like having no friends, and like I think everybody had gotten on like AOL, and like I didn't even know what the fuck that was. And it was hard.
You didn't have AIM? You weren't messaging?
It was hard to get like integrated into the system. I've been out for 2 years skinning deer.
Yeah.
You were institutionalized.
I showed up wearing my moccasins that I'd made, and I thought they were so cool.
That's hilarious. You made your own moccasins and you showed up like this is going to endear me to the kids.
Yeah, that's a thing that really happened. Yeah.
I was like, Haley thinks that's real.
I totally believe that.
No,
I love that you doubled down. Last week we were both on the same fell for something train. I think it was.
I was like, he didn't know it was a joke. I didn't make no fucking moccasins. I just like shooting deer. I had a big bag of jerky, maybe.
I had moccasins when I was that age, and I would wear them around in the woods when I was like cowboys and Indians.
It probably would have been something that lame. I was always bad at usernames. I didn't know what to put. It goes back to that like not wanting to be a phony thing, right? Like when you pick your motorcycle gear or your paintball gear or whatever, it's like, I don't think you're the Mohawk man, dude. Do you really need the Mohawk on your helmet? Dude, maybe that's not you.
That happens what you like. As I age. Like there are things that I think are cool, but don't feel cool enough to wear. I'm 49. Those sneakers that I love so much. Like at 19, I wore fucking track shoes at school. I didn't run. I thought they were neat. And I think I pulled them off because I was like athletic and shit. And I can wear track shoes. Now me shows up with track shoes. What am I cosplaying as a young person? Like, that's bullshit. You can't just wear whatever you want. You have to thread the needle. The reason dads dress like dads is because they're not allowed to dress like high school kids without looking like freaks. So they just get stuck in that lane. And I try to thread the needle somewhat. I mean, more so recently. Don't judge me from like 2012 when I had mandals. But I try to thread the needle of like looking good and staying fit-ish and I guess dressing appropriately without dressing like a child.
Yeah. I really don't like the idea of being seen as a poser or someone who's trying to be something else. That was one thing I didn't like. Like I didn't give a shit if people thought I was a Russian or a communist or like Spetsnaz or whatever they wanted to call me. But I really didn't like it when they were like, he wants to be an army man and he can't. And I'm like, that is not what I want. I would hate to be an army man. If I want to be an army man, I'd be an army man, but I don't want to fucking simplify and salute all of you and thank you for your service and suck your army dicks, like all that. But no, that is not what I want. I made a conscious decision not to do that. I am shooting fucking pumpkins for a reason. Maybe you missed the first 4 jokes I told until we got to the point where I shot the pumpkin, you dumb. But no, I do not want to be an army man, and I'm not trying to look like an army man. And if I'm wearing something, I'm being paid to wear it. I didn't choose it.
Dude, like the way that your hairstyle at the time when you started FPSRussia perfectly aligned with what an Eastern European would look like if he just showed up.
Yeah,
always. Like, people are always like, "Is he really Russian?" It's like, yeah, bro, look at his hair.
Yeah, look at his hair.
Of course.
And he was telling me like sometimes like he'll have the attacks and he'll have to pull over on the side of the road and call an ambulance because it's that debilitating to where you feel like there's nothing. I can't take this shit. Like whatever this is, like I need help. And it's just and no matter how much you try to convince yourself it's a panic attack, it doesn't matter. Like it's just your brain tells you like this ain't
a panic attack, and so of course you're not going to be able to like talk yourself through it.
Yeah, I mean, some of them you can. Honestly, some of them you can be like, it's going to pass. It's going to pass. And you have to like continue to tell yourself it's going to pass. But then sometimes it's like, nah, bro, this one's not going to pass. We're going to die right here.
I usually go. I have them pretty regularly, probably twice a year, which is pretty regular for something that makes me go unconscious and collapse on the floor. It feels like it is anyway. But it's in real stressful situations. Like I would never just randomly have one. It's always been like just some real heavy shits going on, and I would have one. I had one when I got arrested, for the marijuana thing. I had one then, blacked out during that. But sometimes I can stay awake, especially if I can get some cold water and throw it in my face. That always helps. Like if I can throw cold water in my face, that'll kind of snap me right out of it. But I've definitely like completely blacked out and fallen on concrete before, and like. It's not like when you trip and fall and you get your hands out or you can fall in a certain way. I just like felt like a tree getting chopped down. So I like wake up and my elbows are all scraped the fuck up and I'm like, yeah, it's bad.
Do people understand it or lack empathy? Or like I felt like I'm saying is I think 3 years ago I didn't understand it. Like I didn't.
Yeah,
I felt like
I did.
I felt like it was a fear response when it's almost something different than that.
Yeah, it's your brain not handling fight flight correctly, and just triggering just a huge adrenaline dump, and then your body reacting to that. Yep. So it's often it'll be like an argument. Like I've gotten into arguments with people, and it happened, and not even with a man. Like I've got in an argument with like a woman before, and just get so fucking like stressed out and fucking worked up that the next thing I know, it's like if you stand up too quickly and you kind of get like a brownout, everything starts closing in, extremities going literally numb, like you've been laying on your hands and feet, and just got to start hyperventilating, have to sit down. And if I don't get cold water in my face, I'm going out.
Yeah. So that's like the trigger. Does the trigger sit on top of something like a baseline life troubleness? Like I've had times in my life where I was wealthy and times in my life where I was really pretty poor. There's some stress in not having any money, or feeling like your net worth is lower than it was a few years ago. Like that's a problem. Like, is that the kind of anxiety that takes you 80% of the way there? Then you're liable to be triggered?
Not for me. It may be for some people, but for me, it's it's huge moments. It's like dealing with fucking law enforcement and, you know, getting arrested. That was a big one.
Are they all interpersonal conflicts where it happens? Like with another person, something happened you really hate? Not like, oh my God, am I going to pay the whatever?
Oh yeah, it's never like oh no, the cable bill's big. It's like one time like
I didn't know they were charging me by the show.
What the fuck, Hulu? I bundled. I swear I bundled. Like I remember I had one in high school where like just got in a shouting match with a guy who was definitely going to beat the shit out of me if he wanted to, but I didn't want to be a bitch, so I was just screaming at him like, well, do it, and like. Whole time I'm melting down on the inside, like literally I'm feeling the panic attack coming, and I'm like, if he don't knock me out, I'm gonna knock myself out. There's like a timer ticking down in my brain. I'm like, I got about 40 seconds of consciousness here, and he actually walked away. I'm sure not because he was afraid of me, just because he didn't want to like get in any more trouble.
You just see he's standing there sweating bullets going white.
He probably thought I was very ill. He didn't catch anything. But I just went to the bathroom and like flipped the toilet seat down and like sat on it and just cold sweat, just like barely conscious in the bathroom for like 10 minutes trying to pull myself back together from that one. But there's been a few where I just went completely unconscious, hit the fucking ground. Those, like when I feel it coming now, I'm smart enough to like find a couch.
Do you always see it coming?
I've definitely thought in the past that like I've had a panic attack with like I have like a moment of like intense worry and anxiety and then I heard about like Kyle and Arian and people who really get them, and it's like, oh no, like I've never thought I was going to pass out. Like I'll just like maybe start like breathing faster and really be worried. But yeah,
but I mean it's part of them. Like, and that's what I learned is like it's a spectrum. So it's like
it is,
and so you got to kind of find where you're at and deal with those. And so like mine have never been like big moments like Kyle. Like mine is never like big moments don't bother me. Unless they bother me, but it's not like. That's not what triggers them. Yeah. My daughter says hi.
Hello.
Mine are more so. I still don't know. We're still working through the process of why it's happening. But mine is just like an everyday occurrence where it's like it's mild, and then like I was watching John Wick 2.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching John Wick 2, and all of a sudden you feel that adrenaline rush. It's like you could feel the chemicals go boom, and all of a sudden heart goes to 120, 130, and you're just sitting there, and then you feel like somebody's pressing on your chest, can't breathe, palms get sweaty. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? You got to try to calm yourself down, and it's just like the best debilitating. It's like it's just
same question.
I had another panic attack. I had another panic attack during pre-sentencing when they're like listing the charges and the potential maximum sentences, because like. What I eventually
I'm not that fast, bro, but it's funny.
No, it's funny. Laugh. It's funny.
Kyle's laughed about it many times.
Oh yeah, it's fucking hilarious. I know it is. So like I pled to like possession with intent to distribute, but they were trying to hit me with a bunch of nonsense. Like I had a firearm that had been like Cerakoted, like painted, and it made it a little difficult to read the serial numbers. So they were trying to hit me with this federal charge of destroying serial numbers on firearms, and it's like. I didn't even paint the fucking gun. Like a professional like painter painted this gun. And look, you can read them. You just gotta like, get the light
a little bit.
Squint a little bit. Like scratch it with your fingernail. We can figure this out. I didn't destroy anything. It's right there. But it's a 10-year minimum sentence, federal prison. And so like that plus like some of the other nonsense they were trying to hit me with was gonna add up to like 18 years. So like we're sitting there, I'm standing there as they read out all of these charges, and I don't understand how the court system works. For all I know, like the deal is off. We're hitting you with all of it. like the judge might even be like, you know what, he looks guilty. Look at him, he's sweating. Guilty, 20 years. You know what, 25, because he just sent a Mexican guy away for 80 years. Like I watched him do it. Jeez. And so they're listing all those fucking charges, and I lean toward my lawyer and whisper, I'm like. I'm going to hit the floor in definitely less than 90 seconds, but probably less than 60. I'm hitting the fucking floor. So figure that one out for me. How about it? That's what you get paid for. And he's like, can we get a chair?
For passing out.
Can we get a chair? He explains my condition. He's like, he's got diagnosed PTSD. He has panic attacks. Can we get this man a chair? And they're like, yeah, get him a fucking chair. They brought me a fucking chair. So now I'm sitting there. Now I look super guilty. Right? They just list the charges and I'm fainting. And it did not look good.
Oh my God. What a horror. I don't even want to think about putting myself in that position because that would be so scary. Because you're not you're not an attorney. You are just sitting there like 10 years for this, 30 years for this. And in your head, you're like adding up like, I don't know how many years I have left, but it's not this many. I'm 58. Yeah.
At a certain point, I kill myself, right? Like I'm not going away for 20 years. I'm going to kill myself. I just am. I'm not doing 20 years.
And all that for a half ounce of weed, though?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Just
Aaron,
kids.
I have the same question for you. That like, do you feel like life's pressure takes you halfway to an anxiety attack? Like, you've got some Steven Jackson judgment headed against you right now, and you're like, fuck, and all it takes is John Wick to push you over the edge.
No, that's the thing. I'm an everyday, like regular, like happy-go-lucky, nothing bothers me type dude. But I think how I've dealt, so if like a woman that I love in my life, if she cries, like my mother or my ex lady, if she cries, like my first gut reaction is to laugh. Like, and that sounds horrible, but it's over my life and the trauma that I felt. Like that's how I respond to pain. It's just laugh.
Me too. I laugh.
And so
it's
everything
very inappropriate at times.
It's super
not unusual. Lots of people.
Yeah. So I had to explain to my ex one time because she started crying. I was like, oh man, like that type of shit. And she was like, and that's so disrespectful. I'm like, listen, like it's not you. It's just that's how I compartmentalize what's going on. And I think over the years of me doing that, like pain after pain after pain, that it's just me pushing shit down. And maybe I just haven't learned how to deal with the shit that I've actually gone through. Cause like when I was talking to like my psychiatrist, and I'm a lot more open about this type of shit than I used to be in the past. Like in the past, I just avoided this whole conversation.
That's good.
but it's healthy to talk about this shit. So I was talking to my psychiatrist, and I was, as we're talking, like all these memories of like my childhood are popping up that I know about, but I just don't, they're just not there in my everyday life. But like, I've never really like explored them. Like, how did it make me feel? Like that type of shit. And so as we're digging into my childhood, a lot more of that shit is starting to pop up, and maybe that's helping. I know in this last month, I felt a lot better than I have. I still get them, and it's still, the presence is still there. But I think this is just going to be a process.
Yeah.
And
I had court mandated like drug counseling, and so they sent me to a psychiatrist, and she was like, I explained the situation. She's like, well, that's bullshit, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you agree. I was like, I don't have a fucking drug problem. I just like smoking weed. I like doing some. I like doing dabs. Like eating fucking brownies, smoking dabs, smoking flower. I like rolling artistic joints. It's a hobby for me. I enjoy it. It's a hobby. But I haven't smoked in 6 months or whatever it was at the time. I don't have any withdrawals. Like I'm not shaking. I don't have the fucking shakes. Like I want some weed, but I don't.
The pot shivers. You didn't get.
I don't have the pot shivers. All right. And she's like, yeah, of course not. Marijuana is only addictive for like 1% of the people on the fucking planet. But you have PTSD. You want to work on that? And I'm like, oh yeah, let's do that. And I felt so like just doing talk therapy and doing this form of hypnotism that she was into was super fucking effective. Doing this.
That's really dope of her.
Yeah, she was great. I think she wanted me to fuck her with her husband there. I think they were into that.
The cuckolding.
What's up, Debbie? If you hadn't been 58, I'd have been down.
You know what would have been funny is if you think it's a cuckold right there. You think it's a cuckold scenario, but it's a threesome scenario. When you
one or the other, I couldn't tell, but
MMF, not the same as MFM, but
yeah, don't get that confused, boys and girls.
MMF. You guys told me that. I did not know. That's a good life tip.
I'm out the loop.
Oh, you figured it out.
So male,
whoa, all right, that kind of party.
Hey, tell Arian, or
male, female, male is the threesome you're probably thinking of, Arian. But when the two M's are next to each other, MMF, that's a bi thing.
Male, female.
Yeah.
Male, female means there's going to be male contact and male female contact. So like you're gonna be blowing him while you fuck her or something like that. Potentially, that the pieces all fit together in lots.
We need
of different
a PSA
ways.
about this. This is confusing.
Yeah, but male, female, male means the girl is between the two boys. Male, male, female, really anything goes.
And so, like, if you're soliciting things online, this is important.
It's an important search string in porn. Get what you want, all right?
Yeah.
How about like MFFM? Like a lot
you need a lot of separation in there.
Going
I've
on.
never heard
human
of that.
centipeding. Let's keep you away.
I mean, I guess my go-to when I search porn is mature, actually. So
you mentioned that last time.
You like
That's
Debbie?
still your jam. Yeah, you.
So I'm saying Debbie might have got it, dog. I don't
Debbie
know.
looked like she did Pilates or something. She was put together pretty well.
Nice.
I like all the
I
women
still got
it
her card.
with it.
Speaking of chocolate and yummy treats, Kyle, you made some delicious baked goods today, packed with just probably a stupid amount of marijuana.
So I took, I wrote it all down.
That's less than I expected.
I took 7 grams of 25% THC marijuana, and I cooked that into cupcakes for a total of 1,750 milligrams of THC, which is a little more than we want tonight.
Almost
so,
twice as much.
So we are doing 6
About
of them.
10 times more than I want.
You took about 2/3 of the.
I've got
cupcakes
2/3.
The other 1/3, I guess, is.
The only problem is 2/3 of the cupcakes when you're trying to hit 1,000 milligrams is an entire plate of cupcakes.
Taylor, are you looking at that and thinking, "What's the problem?" Because
I started on this one already.
What are you gonna eat the last 3 hours of the show?
So I think what I'm going to do is start like by eating one now and then slowly rank.
Yeah,
like
you should ease
scale up.
into it.
Yeah, that's do they taste good? Oh, sorry.
No, they don't. Fuck. That was my question. They don't. They don't. They taste like grass, probably. That tastes like chocolate. If I had to guess, like everything that I've had, especially that strong, just tastes like grassy chocolate.
Yeah. It's really strong with weed, but I did put real frosting on top, so that doesn't taste like shit.
Yeah, it looks like you put a huge amount of chocolate to mask it.
I went to this smoke shop today and I bought Delta 8, an edible.
No!
Wait.
No, I just like the whole Delta 8 stuff is kind of like it's legal for me to get regular weed here. So it's like, why? I always have this weird connotation. Yeah, I have this weird connotation with like anything that's not traditional THC. Right, like when I was growing up, kids smoking spice and like the other like stuff. It just is weird. But I think Delta 8's fine. I'm pretty sure.
The thing Delta 8 is the bee's knees. That it has like
it is great.
It's not bad for you in the same way that pot's not bad for you, right? Like alcohol's worse. Anyway, I could go on, and it's legal. And I thought that I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to. They were really mad last week, and we're doing like a makeup episode. We're trying to get it right.
We'll get high as shit. And like if I know what you mean about spice and having that hesitance, because like if this were like spice, no one would be doing this because I did spice in high school and it was just a panic attack. We've talked about it before, so I won't dwell on it, but it was the least pleasant drug I've ever done in my life, and I would never do it again. The reason that Delta 8's so popular is because it feels pretty much the same as weed.
Mom,
so
if you're watching,
that's what I've heard.
This is a gentle thing. Alcohol's way worse. They say it's science.
So my probation ended on the 2nd. So I got a Delta 8 vape pen. So at midnight we started like just fucking hitting that thing before I flew to Denver, and in the morning, and it got me so scary high. Like the Delta 8 got me. So. Like maybe it was just because that was the first thing I'd ever smoked, and when I get back, I'll be like, oh, this Delta 8 stuff's weak, but like it seems as strong to me as like this like dab pen. Like it seems so strong.
We'll see.
I asked the guy behind the counter if Delta 8 was stronger than pot, and I'll save you what an annoyance that was. But the takeaway was, some people say one, some say the other. It's close,
dude. That is such a like rule 1. If you've been in a dispensary before, don't ask that fucking weirdo his opinion on any of the weed.
Don't be like, hey, can I like it? Yeah,
it looked his size. If I did an ocular pat down. And I thought, this guy's a subject matter expert on weed and Delta 8, and I could use a little hand holding. When I did that in Colorado, the dude was like he knew what was up. He's like, yeah, I know what you need. We'll get you all set up. We'll point you in the direction of success. This guy wasn't that guy. He was unable to answer questions well.
What a
he was like elusive. I was like, is this a bad question? Do Do I look like
How
a
is
cop
he
or
elusive?
something?
Are you like, how is this drug better than that one? And he's like, maybe.
That's me. He was like, oh, it's hard
We'll
to say
see,
this.
won't we?
And then he kept thinking that I was going to think that he was lying to me. He's like, yeah, but see what happens if I tell you this thing, then you'll hear something else from someone else, and you'll think that I set you wrong, that I'm not telling you the truth. And I'm like, no, I just don't know. I don't know. I want some help.
Yeah.
And
That guy's smoking too much weed. He's paranoid.
Yeah, he's paranoid in his own like head shop. He's like, "Are you a narc, dude?" Like, I don't
asked
know.
him. I was like, is this a bad question? Like, am I coming off like a cop? He's like, no, Delta 8's legal. It's not a cop thing. And then he proceeded to dodge my question.
Do I look like you're like open carrying in the store?
I worry that I look
Fiddling with
like
the
a cop.
trigger.
Like, I've got a bit of a cop look, right? Does this not scream undercover detective at least a little, right?
You absolutely,
Detective, no.
yeah, a little bit.
But-
If you had a mustache, damn.
Detective would have, or a regular cop would have shorter hair, no?
I
No,
don't
I've seen
know. I
regular
think
cops
you've got a very copy. I was gonna say the top from your eyebrows up looks like I should be afraid.
very
Okay.
copy.
Yeah, very copy. Just from there up, though, you look like it works.
What does a detective look like? Well, I guess detectives. No, I was thinking of like an undercover agent. It wouldn't matter. A detective isn't solving crimes like.
He looks like a normal person.
Yeah.
Like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Like Sherlock Holmes.
I was wearing a trench coat and a paperboy hat.
It was
Maybe
that
that was the issue.
This is me and my gay assistant, who has a crush on me, and I'll never acknowledge it.
Wait, is Watson gay?
I thought, maybe I read a tweet about that.
Was it a fan fiction about like how they wanted Watson to fuck?
I guarantee that's out there.
I want to explain what happened last week with the lack of pot. We explained it on PKN, and we all knew we'd do it again on PKA. So why didn't we do 1,000 milligrams last week?
Because it's irresponsible.
No, it was.
That doesn't stop us.
We talked about it pre-show, but I was so high that I thought we talked about it during the show last week, but we just couldn't get any edibles, and I wasn't really thinking of doing it that week necessarily. I didn't think that like I had said it was going to be the first week or whatever. I just said I'd do it on the show. So I was surprised anybody was upset.
Regardless, we got everything now. You've got your nasty ass chocolate muffins, and you can just wolf those down.
I can wash them down with this
cream Zevia.
Yeah.
You need milk. What
There
what is that you have there?
It's cream soda. It's like Zevia.
Oh, okay.
It's not a good. It's a terrible mixture.
Why are you looking at it like it's bad? The cream soda.
Because
is
I'm
the best
eating these
flavor.
weed cupcakes with it, and
Well,
they
then don't rip Zevia. That's a good soda.
You know what you really should have done? You should have blended it into a smoothie. And it is probably easier to drink your THC your can of butter than it is to eat it.
I don't think we have a blender here.
Oh, you would have.
You could throw it in there.
I would take milk. I would just take milk and there's actually ice cream up there too, and like ice cream and like all of those, and just blend them up and just.
There you go. Well, he blended his internet.
Like realm.
Can you get high through your asshole?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what they say?
Is it like the same? You know how like one shot of vodka in your asshole is like way more because it's just going right in. We all know.
Sure,
it.
I know. Yeah,
we've all tried it. Dozens of
they
times.
say 5. I think 4.
Yeah.
You want to use a tampon for that.
I wonder if it's the same with weed. Like if you put 10 milligrams of like a gummy and let it dissolve in your asshole, maybe you get as high as if you ate like 80 or something.
I just searched. You get more high boofing weed, and we're not going to get a lot of good answers from Google on this one. I'm going to let you know.
No studies have been done.
Bing question.
No one's been
Metro.co.uk wrote an article March 21st, 2017 with the title, "You should be putting weed up your anus instead of smoking it, doctor's advice."
Doctor's advice. Hi, everybody. You should be shoving it up your asshole. I'm Dr. Nick. In case the impression was so bad, you didn't
It does make a certain sense. Like if you smoke it, there's some particulate matter and lung damage. I know it's not a lot because you tend not to smoke as much air, I guess, as you would a cigarette, right? But people don't smoke 22 joints a day.
No, your throat would die. They say use a repository and then throw it up there and not like sit on the trees. And
do they sell marijuana suppositories that you can stick up your butt?
But I'm thinking of a market now if they don't.
But and I don't know how this absorption works. Do girls have two options?
Oh my god!
They can get twice as high, and you can too if you're really dedicated. Just sounding it. You're like rolling it and sounding. I've made a very
you have my attention.
Long spike of honey oil that you need to insert into your dick hole.
God damn it! Wait,
that is we're all progressive here with sex and everything. That should be illegal.
Sounding?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no need for that. I can understand a need for getting elbow deep in somebody's ass medically, but there's no need for to stretch your urethra.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of taking mine 1 hour into the show so I'd get more effect from it. Like, so, I don't know, there'd be more show around it.
30, 45 minutes an hour. Depends on what you're taking and how much you ate and all that stuff. But I mean,
Just
if you
dinner.
take...
Does that hurt it or help it?
Hurt it, but I don't think it's not like you'll get less high. It just will probably take more time. It's got to mingle with the food.
Not
now
yet,
you're
Taylor.
fucked.
Now you're actually fucked.
Yes, silly Taylor.
This is
I
what
think it'll
happens.
just go away as soon as your wife's download finishes. Why did I bring her into it? Then, because it was a joke, then it'll be fixed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if I were, depending on how confident and comfortable you are operating when you are when you have taken edibles, I think a full hour of the show at the end is plenty for you to get. Everybody's different. For me, if I take edibles, I'm gonna fall asleep.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
I don't
never
know.
taken them before. I'm gonna make some coffee soon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get a coffee in a moment. But yeah, I don't know. It's been fun. This whole trip's been really fun. Dirty, just getting so fucking high, and I'm always joking about like slipping drugs into his drink and stuff to keep him on his toes. And I pretended like I was injecting him with something last night. And he flipped out. It was great. So I've been keeping him really paranoid because I got like syringes, so I can. If he just sees me, like
right.
I can like boop him with my finger and then just be like, like as I'm walking away, like, pay no mind.
Erica, are
Yes.
these good jokes or bad jokes?
I mean, if you're the type of person that's gonna fall, like, if you think Kyle has an injectable drug he's gonna spend on your forearm to get you high, then you kind of deserve to get pranked.
If I have injectable drugs, I'm not sharing them.
That's what I'm saying. Whenever somebody was like, man, they're gonna lace your weed with like psychoactives with LSD, I'm like, nobody's wasting fun drugs on weed. Okay,
No.
Nobody's gonna be like, hey man, lace it with some coke. It's gonna be 4 times the cost now, though.
Yeah, the only thing that'll happen is people will put like fentanyl and stuff, or fentanyl or whatever. And
yeah,
stuff.
but no, and cocaine, but like not in weed. I also don't know.
Yeah,
why
not
they
in
do
weed.
that.
They do it because it's so cheap and it gives such a big, like, powerful boost. But they always get the dosage wrong. That's not true. Sometimes they get the dosage wrong. There's lots of people out there doing fentanyl and be like, man, this stuff is awesome. My dealer knows the perfect amount of fentanyl to give me. It's wonderful. My last dealer killed 3 girlfriends. This one, amazing.
It is easy to get really inaccurate information around drugs, but I read that when someone dies, it's good for sales. That they're like, ooh,
oh yeah,
Kyle sells the good shit.
I would say
Kyle.
that is more for like heroin or something, right?
That's what it is, right? Heroin.
Right, but fentanyl, there's a current
I think I
issue with.
expected the listener to make that leap. When they sell heroin and someone dies because of the fentanyl, what an addict might hear is, oh, this shit's strong.
Yeah. That's great.
No, you're right.
Oh,
No,
that's
no one-
right.
no-
That's
no one-
scary.
I mean, I would say that is one reason why they might do it. I don't know.
So I want to get a little update, Kyle. How are you feeling? Let's see the tray of
You're
muffins again.
handling this way better than I thought. If I'm
Taylor, we are
completely honest.
18 minutes away.
Yes, I got my Delta 8 gummies. I'm ready to have a couple. I'm not gonna eat a ton because I want to
by
be
the
able
way-
to talk.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the plan? What do you guys have? Because I was lured unknowingly into the pit of you guys just doing a shit ton of drugs. So
What am I
like,
about to do?
so like, I mean, nothing, right? But like, nobody told me that this was the episode, which I'm thankful that I'm here for, by the way. But like, what? So let's say hypothetically, an hour left in the show. you guys are maybe not your game, not on point. What are we doing? What's your filler?
We will either end early or you will carry the show by yourself.
Oh my god!
Or we might play.
This is where I make my stand as this is the first 99% rated PKA episode where you guys are drooling and I'm doing an inner monologue.
You're like over there, like, and another thing. What's the deal?
Oh shit!
All right, I'll be back in 4 months.
Yeah. Normally, if there's any dead space on this show, I think it's fair to say I'm like the first one to be like, bring up a new topic, bring up a thing.
You're good. All right, we can keep it going.
No dead air. I was just
making sure that that. All right, like
when I did pot in Colorado, there was dead air, and I just didn't give a fuck.
That's the danger. Do you see the problem? It's like, you're just like, man, you know what? What about 30 to 45 seconds of silence? We're just comfortable with each other's company.
Yeah. We're fine.
Dude driving 75 on the highway.
Is this still playing? Did I pause it?
Yeah. That's why
I'm
bored. I'm not going to take a ton. I don't think I'm going to do more than 50 milligrams total. I'll do 25 to start.
I can engage with the boys, but not with edibles. I'm sorry.
I leave tomorrow morning on a 5-day motorcycle adventure, and I told that to the guy behind the counter. He explained to me. He said 25. He's like 25. You'll be 100% tomorrow.
25 milligrams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, see? on your tolerance level, you're gonna get fucked up.
But by tomorrow morning, I'm actually
no.
Just during the show, like you'll wait. If anything,
because that's important to me. I'm on a motorcycle. It need to be all the way.
No, it's not. You won't be like fucked up or anything. Like you may wake up and be like, man, why do I feel like I need extra coffee? And I'm like, it's because I got the weed hangover where I'm feeling like just a slight bit drowsy.
I was not aware of weed hangovers. That's the thing.
It's not in any way, shape, or form a debilitating long term. It's you feel you ever just feel like a little too. Like Taylor actually nailed it. It's like a 2 cup of coffee morning. It's not like a negative thing. You're just like, all right, we're kind of cloudy, foggy.
Leaving it noon anyway.
Yeah. You'll have gotten 8 hours of sleep and you'll feel like you got 5.5 hours sleep.
And then by the noontime, you'll be fine. It's not, you never go into REM. You smoke too much, you don't dream. That's a fact.
I've
heard that actually. I didn't want to tell Kyle because he said his sleep has been the best ever.
Your sleep is the best ever until you actually start realizing that it's not as good as a sober night's sleep. Mm-hmm. Weed will get you to sleep, but you will not sleep as fulfilled and as restfully as you just actually getting a good night's sleep. The problem I will take the 70% health sleep 100% of the night over the 100, 80, 70, 60, 50, whatever. Like I will always smoke before bed because I am not going to turn off my brain or like get off New World or do something an hour before. Like I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do it. So fuck it.
I feel
you can't go from like content creation to sleep very quickly. Yeah.
Or any of that stimulation, anything like that.
Yeah.
So I promise I will sleep for 8 hours. My sleep tracker will show me. It'll be like, hey, you slept pretty good, man. Congrats. That's another month of 80%. And I'm like, seems good enough for me, right?
Passing grade.
But you're never going to wake up and be like, holy shit. Like, oh, that's what 8 hours of pure REM feels like. It just doesn't work that way.
I doubt they showed up to his studio and like slapped handcuffs on him. They did that white people arresting thing, like from the Chappelle show, where he like had an appointment to be arrested. That's what I did. I had an appointment to be arrested. I showed up punctually.
You were on time for your arrest.
Yeah, they don't even put handcuffs on you.
Can you tell me more about your appointment? I thought they surprised you in the.
Well, that's the first arrest. I'm talking about the U.S. Marshals. Like when the U.S. Marshals are like, all right, show up at 10, next month, and we'll arrest you, and
Where'd
then
you
we'll
show
release you. At some federal building in Atlanta. And that's when they like DNA'd me, took a cheek swab and took my passport away. Like I turned it over to them. And I think that's about it as far as fingerprints again. Of course I was on time.
You were late for a court date.
That wasn't my fault. Everyone explained that the prosecutor told the judge, he's like, just so we're all clear, this isn't Mr. Myers' fault. He wasn't fucking informed. Like, I was not late to shit, Woody.
Okay. All right.
I'm fully confident Kyle would have been on fucking time with his Sunday best on for every one of these things.
It's funnier to say, well, I was high.
I'm a drug addict.
No, what you're referring to was,
I hit someone on the way in my car.
Like what you're referring to in a normal person's life would have been the scariest thing that ever happened to them. But in mine, it was a Saturday that was rough. It wasn't a Tuesday or whatever. I wake up at like, I don't know, 9 a.m. in bed with my girlfriend. And I'm like, nice little lazy Tuesday. I get a call from the fucking courthouse in Athens, because that's where I think there's a federal thing there. That's initially where like the stuff was happening, and then they moved to Atlanta. Anyway, they're like, supposed to be in courtroom D, where are you? And I'm like, in my fucking bed, an hour and a half away, yo. But I didn't say it quite like that. And so I'm like calling my lawyer and his people and like everyone in my legal little sphere and everything. And what it turned out was I hadn't been informed, my lawyer hadn't been informed, and the prosecutor hadn't even been. Nobody knew that we all needed to be there that day. So it just so happens that they work in the legal field, so they're there, you know. But so everyone is very understanding when I show up an hour late to this thing, and like, and even the prosecutor told the judge, just so we're all clear, like, this man didn't show up late. Okay, like, I wasn't informed, his defense attorney wasn't informed, and of course he wasn't. So the only it was explained.
Then by the rules of Georgia, you are free to go.
I wish, but
that's how it works in college. Like, if the professor's 15 minutes late, we could go.
But it's double jeopardy. We can't get appointments wrong twice.
But the whole process of me getting ready that morning and then driving there was pure terror.
I'm sure
because like, you know, I've been trying to like mind my P's and Q's this whole time, and now I'm an hour and a half late to like sentencing or something, like a major fucking thing. And so I'm just fucking no shower. I'm getting dressed as fast as I can, like brushing my hair and fucking, where's my belt? My good belt? No, it's not that one. That one doesn't fit anymore.
I need a sturdy belt in case this goes poorly.
Yeah, not my rhinestone belt that says "girl toy."
I think I ended up going with no belt, and I hit it with my hands in front of me like this. I literally like couldn't find a belt. Like.
Clearly, this awful postured man.
Yeah, I think my suit and pants were slightly mismatched. Like, it was a dark navy and a black or something like that, which is fine. But like, I was driving as fast as you would think you wouldn't get pulled over the whole way, aggressively, terrified, leaned forward on the wheel with her next to me, going, "It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right." And there's me constantly calling people, constantly, so scared.
That was at like 130 BPM sitting down. You're so nervous. That sounds like a nightmare, man.
It's like, this isn't my fault.
That's how Kyle did so well in the fucking fitness competition. Just 130 BPM resting pulse for some reason.
Did they not like explain? Did they not explain the extent to which you weren't in trouble up front? Like, your attorney wasn't like, "Hey, huge mess up in the scheduling office. It's okay. Like, you just get down here quick."
I don't think I knew for sure that I was good, because I couldn't get in touch with him either.
He hadn't been your lawyer.
He didn't know. He's in court with somebody else, or he's like, or he's driving and he can't answer the phone when he drives. It's a crime in Georgia. Your lawyer gets a fucking thing on. It's a problem, right? Like you can't have your criminal lawyer. So he's obeying the law. He won't answer his phone when he's in the fucking car. So I think some of that was part of the deal. In any case, in that fancy car I bought him. But yeah, I wasn't late for anything. I promise you.
Was there any wiggle room? Thing. Like, when they told you show up at 10 for sentencing or to be arrested?
Oh,
like, if you or your lawyer had said, like, "We are going to be there. Can we do 11:30? Mr. Myers has a dentist appointment."
Oh, totally.
Really? You can kind of like stop and get a meal, like go to the arcade.
Well, see, like this, what I'm describing as arresting is like me turning myself over to the U.S. Marshals, and they take me into their custody, and they technically process me a little bit, but then they just turn around and release me.
You know what would have been fucking sick is if you turned yourself in wearing like spurs.
Oh,
like spurs and a vest. Chink, chink, chink.
So they have to take them away and put them in the box. When I went to prison, that would have been when I went to prison. When I checked in, I should have had like lots of accessories.
A bandolier of weapons.
so that when I'm released, they're like rhinestone belt buckle, 2 water pistols filled with SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
Those dried up, sir. Like I just going through my random shit, and I'm nodding intently and taking each thing and putting it on. Yeah, I was never late for anything. I don't think, now that I can remember. I think there was a couple times when they fucked up their information and I didn't show up for a thing, but I never messed up. But yeah, the U.S. Marshals still have my passport. I guess I guess it's expired, so no need to get it back. But I kind of want it back, but I don't want to talk to them.
It makes it easier to get another passport if you just have your old one.
Yeah, why?
I know it does, right?
I think that's true, but I'm not sure why.
It is
because it's like on the list of like, because I had to get a passport like a couple of years ago, and the list is like you can bring this, or your license and old passport, and it's like, damn, like if you don't have your passport, it's going to be a pain in the butt. Do you have everything else like birth certificate, like all that shit? Every time I need that shit, I have to find it, and then I lose it.
I have my original birth certificate. I'm looking at it. And it got sent to me. I had it sent to me the other day. And when I went to tear open the envelope, I tore it.
That sucks. I could see making that mistake.
What'd you do? Straight through the middle? I'm not paying this bill from the public records department.
Fuck you, Mom.
Yeah, that's what I pictured.
Like birth certificate. No, it had like I tore it right at the top, like forgetting what might be in that envelope. And I thought it was like an Amazon. It was a Manila thing. So anyway, I tore the edge completely off my birth certificate, and I'm not sure if it's even technically valid anymore.
As long as it's got all the good stuff on there, I think
it's got all the good stuff. But it's a tear right through the one of the edges is for 1.5 inches is torn off all the way down. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'd like to get my passport back from those marshals, but
give them a call.
Yeah.
Hey, you remember me?
No, we didn't.
I'm that cool guy.
Now,
remember the rad guy in Georgia? Like that's me. I need my
tubular fellow. You were.
I was about to drop a tubular. We were racing to it.
Yeah, I love that 90s Bart Simpson. Yeah, that 90s Bart Simpson talk. By the way, this is one of those trips where nobody had any money but Kyle. Like I would be like, Jeremy, I need you. We're getting in the truck in the morning. We're going to Texas. What part? It doesn't matter. You won't be back for at least 1 week, maybe 2. And go, I ain't got no money. I'm like, it doesn't matter, Jeremy. 8 a.m. And that's how we go. So I would have to fund his whole goddamn trip. So when we got to that strip club, I felt bad having him sit there like just pockets like pulled out, like sitting over there like doofus, because he pouts. He's like, you remember when me, you, and Joe Lozon were riding around to that pizza restaurant, and like maybe afterwards on those little cobblestone back streets of Joliet or south of Chicago, and Joe's like a jock, and he'll riff and pick on people, and you gotta kind of like have fun with that and not take any offense by it. And I think we all at some point started giving Jeremy a hard time because, he's an easy target or whatever happened. But we started giving him a rough time about something, and he started pouting. He pouted up.
He pouted hard. And by the way, Jeremy, I don't think Taylor's met him, but he's really strong. He's not ripped, but he's just stout, country strong guy. And I think Jeremy could probably kick my ass, but he cannot kick my ass while I'm sitting next to Joe Lozon. His odds are really low.
Mostly because of Joe. Yeah.
Also, he's in a state he's never been in before in my fucking vehicle working for me. Like he's not gonna.
He was driving very poorly. That's one of the reasons.
Yes! He's driving poorly. What's poor driving?
He'd never been in the big. All right. To be fair, he'd never been in the big city before. Okay, and this was as close to big city as he'd ever been.
The big city,
Chicago.
There was some little back streets and shit. It wasn't anything crazy. It was but this was more intimidating than he'd ever driven before. By the way, another time I had him drive to Atlanta, he crashed. He had a crash calling a trailer full of toilets that I was about to gun down. Okay, he couldn't make it. No, he ruined a trailer though, and then they tried to make it out that I should bear the recompense for the damaged trailer, a trailer that he borrowed on his own behalf. I did not borrow that trailer. I said, Jeremy, I need to get my trailers, my toilets, and this door frame and bullshit, all this nonsense out to Atlanta to film tomorrow. Can you do that? Yes, I can do it. Do you need any help? No. I got a trailer. Cool. He borrows someone else's trailer. He wrecks. He damages their trailer. I have to get my daddy to get up at 9 a.m. and say, Dad, will you drive to the middle of fucking Atlanta, hook your truck up to this trailer full of horse shit and drive it to me? And he said, give me the fucking GPS. And he got it done. Jeremy, meanwhile, is like, hey, Carl, you know that trailer I borrowed that I fucking ruined the fenders on? That comes to $787 for new fenders. And I'm like, tough fucking shit. Tough fucking shit. I don't feel like I should bear this recompense. My dad steps in, unbeknownst to me, fucking repairs the fenders himself, re-welds it, hammers it out, forges him new goddamn fenders. So now I gotta pay Dad for his hours. He won't tell me how many hours. It's a whole fucking horse shit thing where they like made me the bad guy. But I don't feel like I didn't borrow that trailer. He borrowed that trailer. What if he borrowed a fucking semi truck and wrecked it? What if he borrowed a $250,000 big rig and wrecked it? Am I on the hook for that? At what point do we draw the line? How much can he borrow and make me responsible for when I'm not even, unbeknownst to me? I didn't sign any contracts. I said, hey, can you get the trailer out there? This cocksucker.
I see your point.
This cocksucker.
He's a real good guy.
Yeah, but it was fun. Like he was a little stressed. He was driving poorly. He kept missing turns. He didn't follow the GPS correctly. And it's like he fucks up 2 or 3 times. And then by the 4th time when he fucks up, it's a joke. Like everyone just not.
We were hungry trying to get to a pizza restaurant, like Chicago shit. And there were these one-way streets. So he'd overcommit and he'd have to do a big loop to get back. And it's like on street parking, right? You've got to like parallel park sometimes. And I'll be honest, like I didn't encounter that until later in my life. Like where we're from, you don't see that shit. There's big fucking parking lots in front of shit. Yeah. There's never a need to parallel park, like unless you're in a larger city, which he's never in. So he was making big loops, and we're complaining because we're hungry. We just want to get in the goddamn restaurant. And so yeah, I think we gave him a hard time.
So he just didn't know how to drive in a city.
Correct. Yeah. And he is my driver.
Dude, it is when you're with someone who doesn't know how to drive in a city and they're driving, it's genuinely stressful. Because like do you guys feel that way? Where like if you're looking for parking and someone driving isn't as in control of the situation as you would hope, where you're like, you'll see a place to park and you're almost like, I don't want to announce this now because they're almost too far and they'll slam on the brakes and cause a problem. Okay, we'll just find the next thing. It really is a skill. Like driving in an urban area is something that you have to get used to. You have to get used to the homeless that just
I had never driven in Atlanta until like the day I had to go out here and to a job interview when I was 18 and a half years old or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And that's the age you use and a halves.
I was
I was 17 and a quarter.
I was so fucking terrified. I was holding the steering wheel like this, terrified. And I left with so many extra hours because I knew in my head there were going to be lots of times when I was going to miss an exit. And I was going to have to completely recalibrate using the paper map and the map quest that I had next to me. Oh my fucking God, did I ever need the extra 3 hours I gave myself that morning? I was terrified. There were times when I was like, I felt like Luke Skywalker, like flying into the fucking Death Star. Because I had never been in 4 or 5 lanes of Atlanta morning traffic where everybody is flying and cutting around you and trying to get a better position. Yeah. And I don't care. I'll go 30 miles per hour. That felt good. But then it's wild out here. I mean, even now, like now I love it. And after living out here for a little while, I started thinking of it like a video game. Like it's really fun to drive fast in that traffic because, knock on wood, Atlanta police don't pull you over for speeding.
Mm-hmm.
They just
have too many other problems.
Look, I mean,
want to make it a video game, Kyle?
Don't.
Break out the motorcycle, drive in between the cars. I did
my
that
fucking God.
on my that last trip I took in December where I went to California, I drove through Atlanta traffic on the way. I wanted to go south to get warmer weather and then west.
Yeah.
And I got a ticket. I guess the police don't give you a hard time, but the cameras will catch you. And there was a lane like for high occupancy vehicles. And I was like, that's me, maybe. I don't know. So I just kept like going. I could go in and out of the lane, just swerving around.
I'm high. Like
when I bought that Acura, I had dealer plates on it. And this is when I was like 19. And I would just drive through. I never got the Peach Pass and all that horse shit. I would drive through everything. All the fast lane shit, I would just cheat it because I had the dealer plates on it. And I sell cars. So I've got infinite dealer plates. Like the stickers that they covet, that people... I've got infinite of it's the part that you like pull this protective plastic off and stick it on there. It's got a hologram on it and a barcode. Like it's this restricted item, supposedly. I never considered this because I was a good boy, but those things were valuable. And I had literally infinite, just like I'd have wads of them. I don't know how many, 100 in my desk, but there's a back room somewhere full of them. Like
you just used them all the time.
I just fucking write a new day. Every time I sold a car, I would make a new one for the customer right there. So I'm the guy who makes them anyway as my job. So I know just how to like write the new date on there that a month from today. So it was a brand new car anyway. So I just kept it clean. So I would drive through everything. Know who they're going to send the ticket to, the date on the back of my car. So I never. I always drove through the what is it? The tolls, all that shit.
Yeah.
Never paid any of
so
that.
when I ride on these
speeding
trips,
tickets, none of that shit. Red
my
lights.
license plate, even right now, it has so much mud on it that I'm pretty sure it's unreadable by a camera. And it's like after my bike's in that state, I walk around the back of the bike, I clean off the turn signals, so that people can see, and I leave the license plate a mess so that cameras can't get me.
I saw a guy.
One thing I'm not used
over.
to is I guess you guys are from toll states where like you have tolls and things. We don't have that in Missouri, and most of the Midwest is not tolled. Like we don't have that. So it's weird. It was weird for me to get used to. And I remember, this was probably 5 years ago. I was going to a meeting with the buyer at Publix, which is a Florida-based retail chain.
Good place.
And, Publix rules.
They used to have free samples.
They have great sandwiches.
What happened to the samples?
But you know what fucking happened is all the samples at Costco and places like that, the cost is covered by the companies trying to get on sample.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I haven't seen them since I was a child. I remember
it must be Publix shutting it down because every food company is going to jump at the opportunity to be on sample for the most part.
God,
but
I'd love to have
I went for this meeting and I had to get a rental car, obviously, to drive to Publix corporate. And I remember getting off and seeing these tolls. Like I had to probably get through 4 or 5 tolls in this rental Nissan Versa I was in. And the way it's supposed to go in Florida is they're supposed to have like a sun pass thing built into the car. So you don't ideally that's what it's supposed to be, or maybe you pay extra for it. But I kind of realized as I was driving, it's like I worked at a rental car place. I know how this goes. There is a 0% chance that when I get a bunch of tickets, this will come back to me. 0%.
Really?
And so I blew through every single toll light. And I'm sure they took pictures. I'm sure that I don't give a fuck. It didn't
They're
matter.
still looking for you. There's a picture
I just
of you on the wall.
Flew through it and did my thing. Nothing ever happened. Returned my car. Totally fine. So maybe I'm wanted in Florida. The ghost of Orlando. I was just, they have a picture of my fat fucking face from 2017 just flying through.
Dude, so nowadays they have cameras at the tolls and they take a picture of your license plate and they'll send you a ticket in the mail if you blow that. When I was 17 learning to drive, none of that existed. You only got into trouble if a policeman was waiting at the toll for people to blow the tolls, which I just rolled the dice and assumed that never happened.
Yeah.
I ran hundreds, if not thousands of tolls when I was like 17 and 18. I blew through every one. There'd be bridges where humans are working there. And I'd just be like, hi, and go. And that was it. I was like, yeah, I'm just not paying. I don't have 50 cents.
I was surprised when I heard.
I'm not paying. Fuck you.
I did it on dates. I would just see a girl there. I'd be like, yeah, I just never pay tolls. That's
hey, this is a fun game we play. Put your head down. Like,
I was surprised and like only got prepared for the tolls in Florida at the last minute. Someone reminded me, and I bought like a roll of quarters. And I remember thinking, a roll of quarters is such an absurd amount. Why didn't you just get change for 5? We went through the fucking roll just driving around Florida for like a couple days. It's ridiculous. Absurd. They'd be handing wads of coins to them at a time. Like this is what absurd.
I fucking hate toll roads. I feel so scammed.
Florida's shitty about it. I don't remember how bad Jersey was or going up there. I have that whole trip is a bit of a fog to me now.
I feel like Jersey's known for being shitty for those camera things.
We don't have them in Atlanta. We have you can pay more to get a fast lane. We have the Peach Pass.
Yeah, we don't have any of that shit here.
I guess not. I mean, everybody there is trying to move along as fast as they can. I'm sure nobody's really slow. I mean, the only people who slow down in St. Louis are the ones who are like viewing the scene of the crime.
Oh yeah, St. Louis is a city. A lot of rolling stops.
St. Louis, stop to gawk.
Yeah, stop to gawk. It was pretty.
Absolutely, I signed my dad up.
Especially the ladies.
Yeah, dad had a lady over the other day. He had never had her over before, and it's kind of weird to get to his address because it's kind of like a hidden driveway. So he has this lady come to the driveway that leads to his farm instead because it's easier to see from the highway. And so he's parked in like his like ATV thing, it's like I don't know what to call it. It's one of those big, like, it's got a dump bed on the back and like 2 rows of seats. And anyway, it's a big ATV thing. And he's got all these dogs that he's rescued that people have dumped out. He's literally got like 3 or 4 farm dogs with him all the time, and they live at the farm, and he takes care of them. Well, she pulls up, gets out of her car, and he notices she's slurring her speech a little bit. And he's like, that's never a good sign. Well, sometimes it's a good sign, but probably not right now. That's not good. And right as he's noticing that, 2 of the dogs start having the most ridiculous dog fight of all time. One of them has bit the other one on the neck, and they've both started rolling like 2 fur balls, just screaming and howling and growling. And he's trying to stop them, get them apart. Well, he was parked right over a creek. There's like a drainage pipe that runs under the road, and he was parked right on top of it. The dogs roll into the creek, and he quickly sees that if he doesn't intervene, one of the dogs is literally going to drown the other one in the fucking creek. And the woman is screaming, and so he runs down the bank, jumps into the creek, and one of the dogs is literally holding the other one under the water, fucking drowning it. And so he reaches down in the water and he grabs
a police dog by chance?
No, that's the one that fucking Kitty's got at her house. I wish it would drown in a bowl. His dog, he pulls the drowning dog up out of the water, and he looks behind him, and she has rolled down the fucking bank, and she's in the creek too now. She was like all dressed up, and now she's like chest deep in the creek. And so he hands her a dog. He's like, here, take this one. And he gets the other one. And they're fighting to get toward each other. And finally, like, he's like slapping the dog around, like, stop, just fucking stop. And the dogs stop. So they start climbing up the bank, and it's all, it's Georgia. So it's this red, muddy clay that we have here. It's gross. They get up the top of the bank. When they started this fucking meeting, they've only known each other for 10 minutes now. When they started, they were both dressed really nicely. They're dressed for a date, essentially. And now they are both soaking wet and covered in mud. And she just has made it to the top of the bank to where the road is again. And he starts to sort of like, well, that was kind of crazy, huh? And she trips and falls and rolls all the way back down into the creek again. And
now, Three Stooges shit.
Yes. So now she crawls all the way back up, and she's just completely filthy. She's covered in this mud. She's got like creek weed on her or whatever the fuck. And he's like, all right, we've got to clean up. This is ridiculous.
follow me back over to my house. So she gets in her car and he gets on his little ATV and he
didn't
drives
put her in the
road.
bed. She's a mess.
It was her car, so he didn't care if she messed it up or not, I guess. So they drive to his house and he's like, we got to get a shower. So they both get into the shower naked together. And I'm like, this thing's going to work out nicely. She's like, yeah. And he's like, she's still slurring her speech a little bit, but she seems to be okay. So she's like, I'll wash your back. And he's like, all right, sounds good to me. So he passes her the soap and she's washing his back and everything. And they're in the shower. And all of a sudden he hears, tick, 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 tick. She has fallen out of the shower, grabbed the shower curtain. And on the way down, she's ripped every shower ring as she fell. Bing, 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 bing. Fallen head first into the toilet, which is next to the shower.
What a careless bitch.
She has fallen onto the toilet and knocked the toilet off of its base.
Does she have Parkinson's?
Now there's water flooding. Because she has broken the toilet she's hit it at the perfect angle. She's fallen out of the shower, hit the top of the toilet and knocked it over, and the water is flowing up now.
How large is this woman?
Regular size. She just hit it just right, apparently.
Okay.
So
it's gracious.
They get out. Still a little soapy, but they dry off anyway. Because goddamn, we've got a new problem to solve. So he gets the water cut off to that. He turns the knob or whatever, and that's all good. Although now we're down to 2 toilets in the home, and got to keep your eye on this one. And she's knocking them out left and right.
And you got water damage to deal with now, probably.
It's tile floor. It'll be fine. But so then he puts her clothes and his clothes into the washing machine. And he's had that washing machine for at least 10, 12 years or something like that. It's not like a new fancy digital one. It's the old crank the knob kind of washing machine. So puts all the clothes in there, grabs her some pajama type clothes. He puts on some clothes and he's like, let's step out on the back porch and just relax for a minute. Would you like a beer? And she's like, yeah. So they each get a beer and they go to the back porch. He's got a nice little back porch area. You can sit in the swing. He's got a little garden out there. The swimming pool's just beyond that. It's a nice little place to hang out.
What's she wearing? His clothes? Did you say that?
He had some pajamas or something. He put it in. I don't know, some sweatpants, a t-shirt, whatever. Well, while he had gone to get the beers, she had started tinkering with the washing machine because she wanted cold, not hot, cold on her clothes. She didn't want them to shrink or whatever.
Oh my God.
This is reasonable.
Because she changed to cold mid-cycle, she has confused the washing machine. When they walk back into the laundry room from this little back porch area, the whole laundry room is flooded. So is the kitchen. And the bathroom, which is attached. Now the bathroom is flooded again. The kitchen is flooded completely. And the entire laundry room, which is a big laundry room, as big as this whole room I'm in, flooded. The whole washing machine is overfilling. And he's like, the fuck did you do? What have you done now?
I mean, and what you were saying, that's reasonable. I would put to you that it is not. If I go to let's say I go to Kyle's house or your house and I fall out of the shower and my head shatters the porcelain everywhere.
That's possible.
You know how many things in your house I'm going to touch from that second on? 0. I'll be letting you guys open the fridge for me to get a soda. I'll be like, hey, Kyle or Woody, do you mind if I grab... Now watch the whole process. Dr. Pepper, got it, and we're done. Okay. I would not be fucking around with settings
Taylor,
on your...
This is how we use a toilet. Notice no headbutts.
Fall into it head first outside of the shower. So yeah, that's totally her fault. You should not be fucking with settings on people's appliances after you do something like that. You should be thankful they're not kicking you out.
Okay.
She spent the night. He wakes up the next morning. Can't find her. Where is she? Where's she gone? He thought the worst. He's like,
what has she done now?
She's falling.
He comes up. He throws open the bedroom door, runs into the living room, looking around for a fire or a hole in the entire wall of the house or a car parked in the kitchen.
A Kool-Aid Man shaped hole in the side.
No, I'm taking on my desk to inspect your septic tank.
Or like she's going to check the attic insulation and her feet are just hanging through the ceiling kicking. It's like some fucking Home Alone shit. But
she slips on a bunch of marbles and steps on
turns out the bed was just too stiff for her. She went to sleep on the couch. He put her in her car, directed her toward her home, and he has not seen her since.
Oh, well, Kyle, she succumbed to the full paint can top of the stairs for our home.
She dodged the first two, don't they all? No one expects the third can.
I'm a fool. I was secretly hoping that shared experience was the beginning of a relationship.
He'll keep fucking her. The man's good around the house, all right? Like a trip to Home Depot is a little vacation to him. He's gonna love fixing that stuff up.
Excuse me, sir. I know more than you. Or
Exactly.
Swanson, yeah.
Or Hank Hill.
I think they took that right from fucking King of the Hill. But,
yeah, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, is your dad a Hank Hill kind of guy where it's almost like something is broken and he's like excited to get working on it? Because I've always wished I could be that guy, but when something breaks around my house, I'm like, this sucks. I need to call a real man.
It depends what's broken. If it's something with a car, he really enjoys working on cars, and he's really knowledgeable as long as it's not fuel injected, because he doesn't have all the diagnostic equipment to diagnose computers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But as long as it's fuel injection, he built and raced race cars for years, carbureted. He built and raced race cars for years, so he's really good with engines, transmissions, and the whole drivetrain stuff. And then he owned a paint and body shop for many years as well. So anything paint and body, he's really good at too. And he taught himself upholstery, so he likes doing car stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
think that around the house shit. That's not titillating him.
It's not titillating, but he's proficient in all of it except for HVAC. We always called an HVAC guy.
You're very good at fitting into new environments, right? Doesn't matter. Boston people, redneck people, even Canadians, I imagine.
Sure, but these are felons.
Did that superpower work in prison?
I got along with the people I wanted to get along with, but there's 80 of us in there, so immediately I felt like I needed a representative from each race. So I found a white guy who was there weren't any big tough white guys. There were only old white guys. There weren't any really young and big tough white guys. So I found an old white dude named Pops, and I made Pops my friend. Pops gave me a pair of sneakers the second day I was there, so I wouldn't have to buy any like some Under Armour like sneakers. And then I decided I need a black friend. So I noticed that this big black dude with dreads, big dude, had his radio was like busted up, and he had it all taped up with tape. And I was like, "Hey man, what happened to your radio?" And he's like, it fell and it broke. These things are shit. I was like, "Look, I'm leaving in 2 months. You can have my radio." And he's like, "For real?" I was like, "Yeah, you can have the headphones too. And this is $100. And to these people, if they don't, not all of them have loving family members sending $150 a week like I do, or a bank account that Kitty can just take some money out of and send it in." This guy, he was like, "For real?" Now he's my friend. Now he loves me. Now he's coming to me all the time with information and goodies. He'll bring me a pair of flip-flops. They're $25. Here you go, man. I got you something. He's like, "I saw you like those Diet Pepsis. Here's a 6-pack. He's always bringing me shit. Then one day, well, let me complete my trio of protectors. Then I'm assembling the Fellowship of the Federal Prison System here, the Tolkien style band of merry men. And then I was like, well, I definitely need a Spanish dude. And this guy Snow is sitting there watching TV one day. So I'm sitting like 2 chairs from him, and I strike up a conversation with him. Snow is a big fucking dude. And I told him what I was there for, and he thought that was bullshit. And he starts telling me what he's there for. Well, he's a member of a Mexican crime family out of Texas. He's in for trafficking, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and fleeing the police. And that's just what they caught him for. He confessed to 2 different capital crimes to me while I was there that he had not been charged or for. On the track, he runs 3 miles a day, and then he does 10 chin-ups every quarter mile with 40 pounds tied to his waist. And he changes his grip
every 10 chin ups. So it's a different grip for each set. It's either these or these or these or the wide ones. They're always different. And he explains this to me in great detail all the time. Like he's very meticulous about his routine.
Are you telling me this fucker repeats stories?
Every day. He's been in for 10 years and he's got 5 more to go, something like that, on his charges. And he's got a really strong, like, Cholo accent. Yo, Holmes, yeah, I've been in here a long time, Holmes. You know, and I'm just like, cool, man. That sucks. You know, you're gonna get out soon. You're gonna see your family. Well, he's after like 2 days of knowing him, he's like, hey, man, you want to go work out with me? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. He's like, I'll come by yourself 7 o'clock in the morning. All right, you be ready? I'm like, yeah, I'll be ready. So every day I go with him. We run our 3 miles. I'm not doing chin ups. I run my 3 miles and you know, have a good day. And it turned out that he was watching my back the whole time I was in there, and anybody that wanted to fuck with me, he was squashing it before I even knew anything about it. Because, like, the scariest thing that happened was about 10 days in, the black guy comes by my cell, and I'm sitting in bed reading.
Do we know this black guy?
Your friend?
The dreaded black guy I'm giving the radio to.
Yeah.
He comes by and he goes, yo, man, I thought I'd let you know. There's somebody in here that's wanting to get with you. And I sit up in bed, you know, I'm lying down, like reading like this. And I sit up and go, marketplace here. Someone's looking to get with me?
I already have a workout partner.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, they looking to get with you. I was like, well, you let them know that I'm not looking to get with anybody. And I won't go down without a fight. I was like, that's not happening. He's like, I'll pass the word on, man, but you watch your ass. And I'm thinking, like, I wonder if he's going to add literally at the end, but he's not a smart guy, so he just walks away. And now I'm terrified because he's not bullshitting. He's very serious. He whispers this to me, and he's one of my closer associates in there. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, fuck. Now I'm terrified of the shower. Now I'm terrified to go in there. So now I have to time my showers for when Snow showers. Now me and Snow, the big Mexican guy, like, we work out together already. So it works out fine that we both go back to our cells, get our towels, get our stuff, and we go to the shower. And so the shower, you walk into this room and there's 5 different shower heads, and they're each separated by a partition wall with a shower curtain behind you. It's very private. And
it's nicer than my high school showers.
It's really nice. Those shower heads have excellent pressure and never-ending hot water. It's excellent. And by this time, I've got good soap. It's the same brand I use. Good shampoo. I've got a good towel. I got everything. So you walk up to the door of this thing. It's a shower curtain too, and you pull it back a little, and you avert your eyes in case somebody's standing there naked, because you don't want to get caught or accused of cock looking or something like that. Yeah. Meat gazing, a dick peek, and you say as aggressively and as much of a manly tone as you can, shower. And whoever was last to go into the shower, you don't go shower. So whoever was the last to go into the shower, they call back, and they answer with whichever showers are available. So if somebody's in 1 and 3, they go 2, 4, and 5, and then you holler back, going in 5, and then you do it while averting your eyes once again, because it's just a shower curtain separating you. And then I would always go in 5 because that was a handicap shower, and it was very nice. It had the big shower head. Yeah, and the like chest high shower thing too. So I would take incredibly fast showers. I get clean, then I get the fuck out. And when you're ready to leave, you say, leave in 5. And everybody says, all right. And then you get the fuck out, averting your eyes again. But the whole time, I'm going to say from the time that dude told me that until like 2 weeks ago, I was terrified to go to the bathroom. The whole time. Like there was a day when I didn't catch Snow in time, and I was like, I'll shower tomorrow.
What's the actual bathroom situation like?
There are 4 toilets in stalls, just like in a department store or anywhere else. There's a urinal, and there's like 6 sinks. So it's fine. The toilet paper was awful. I immediately bought toilet paper. Like, I got some fucking Charmin right away. It is a must-have item to anyone who's about to go to prison. Get your Charmin toilet paper. So yeah, the Snow guy, it turned out, was like watching my back the whole time. And anytime anybody would say anything about me, or anytime I did something I shouldn't do, he would pull me to the side and be like, hey, like one time I pissed and I didn't wash my hands. He said, hey, somebody said you didn't wash your hands. I'm like, somebody told you I didn't wash my hands when I pissed? He's like, yeah, you got to wash up, man. People take that shit seriously, you know, because you're going to touch the microwave or you're going to touch the TV. And I'm like, I didn't even touch my dick. I was like, I just whipped it out. He's like, don't matter. They don't know. For all they know, you're washing your hands and pissing there. You got to wash your hands. And I'm like, I'll lather them bitches up like I'm about to go into the operating room from now on. If it'll keep anything bad from happening or anybody from yelling at me. So now I'm scrubbing the fuck out of my hands every day in there like I've got OCD. They're getting red. Like I'm looking around like,
all dry.
See how red they are? I only use hot water. Just hot. Like
my skin's cracking. I'm so clean. Yeah.
They're coming out like crab legs. And I'm just like, this is just. Then I get into a shouting match with a guy one morning at the TV room because it's just me and a black guy. I get up at 4 a.m. at this point of my stay, and it's just me and this black guy, and the TVs are on the local news, like all of them are, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck what's going on in Montgomery, Alabama. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna change the white TV to Everybody Loves Raymond. I want to watch the sitcom. He goes, yo. We watch the news in the morning. And I was like, well, watch it on one of those TVs, man. There's 3 fucking TVs here. We watch the news. He's about to crack. I found out later he's been in there for 14 years and he's got 2 more. This maniac named Chico.
He's coming out soon.
He takes them unless he has a fucking conniption fit over the morning news while I'm away. Then yeah, he'll get out soon.
So Chico wanted all 4 of the TVs turned to the
various
local news.
ABC, CBS, NBC. He wanted all of the local news stations on simultaneously, so he'd know everything that was going on in downtown Birmingham that morning. He needs 3 different fucking weather reports, 3 different weather girls. And I'm just like, all right, here you go. Click, 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 click. Happy now? He goes, great. All right, fine. Won't come back. I just won't come back in the mornings and watch because I don't want to watch the morning news. For some reason, it just seemed real depressing to like watch what was actually going on just outside the fence and down the road. Like CNN is one thing, but I just didn't give a shit what was going on.
And boring as fuck.
And boring as fuck. It was a weird fucking time. They were, but those guys thinking that I was a snitch didn't wear off until about 6 weeks ago, or about 2 weeks ago. It was when I started like making more friends. When people started realizing, like, oh, I guess he's actually just in here. I guess judges really do give people 2 months.
So there wasn't an event. They just got to know you over time, and you started to fit in.
Yeah. They trusted me with the locations of the hidden knives. I was trusted with that information. So if you want to slice up like an onion, which is contraband, by the way, we're not supposed to have onions. Or if you want to make your own relish, because there isn't relish out of a pickle, I've seen people nibble those items down and into chunks. The guys but I was trusted with the sacred location of 2 of the 3 knives in the dormitory. I won't say where they were, but they're hidden in public area.
I won't say where they were.
They're hidden. What was that last word?
In like a public area, like not in anybody's cell and not in anybody's locker. They're put somewhere where nobody would get in trouble. They're hidden in a third-party location.
To anyone, right?
Exactly. And it's really rudimentary blade that you can chop up an onion or a tomato with without mushing it all up.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it wasn't. I never told you this. This is funny. When you and I went to see Joe, I was stoned the whole time.
Which time to see Joe? Probably. The wedding?
When we drove up there.
Oh yeah.
I was high the whole time. I didn't want to like bug you with it, or like I felt like maybe
how did you even
was somehow
do that? We shared a hotel room.
I was smoking in gas station bathrooms.
That's hiding
hilarious.
Like Woody's your dad, and he's gonna get you in trouble.
I didn't want him to I felt like him knowing would put him in a position where he would then have to lie from me potentially, and it would be better if he could just actually be ignorant of the fact that I had marijuana. So if a cop was fair. Did you know he had weed? It'd be great if he could honestly say no. and like not even make Woody lie and tell a lie for me potentially. So like that was a bit of it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, not wanting to like, I knew he didn't want to get high. So it's not like I was being greedy or anything. And like Woody had to stay up all night the night before our trip to do videos to keep up with his schedule. So he wasn't a great riding partner. So after I saw that, the next time we stopped for gas, I blazed up. and like every stop after that, I had I don't know what that is. I had a chillum and a bag of ground weed, and I would just go in the bathroom and load that thing up and hit it like 5 times as fast as I could, blowing the smoke into the vent, and then I'd run out to the truck and get it, and we'd take off.
I used to do that in movie theater bathrooms.
That's probably what contributed to us getting lost in Delaware on the way back.
You blamed it all on me.
But it was Kyle blitzed out of his mind.
I didn't mean to blame it on
I don't know. It doesn't matter. All roads lead to Rome.
I honestly don't remember what happened. I'm just thinking that maybe the marijuana could contribute to it somehow, because I probably touched the navigation and fucked it up. That's probably what happened. But God, there shouldn't just be one button that fucks everything up. And apparently there was, and it sent us to Delaware.
I remember we had
the
like
Delaware key.
2 different ideas on like where to go and what to do. And we clearly agreed on one, and the GPS was clearly set to the other. And I don't know how it happened, but
it's probably my fault. But we got home eventually. I'll tell you what the worst part. I'll tell you how fed up I was, like with how long that drive had gotten. Not with you, but just the drive in general. I left you at your house, and it was like 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, something like that, in Apex. And I leave your house, bid farewell. I'm on the interstate highway, right? 2 lanes, one way with a median. And I hear Woody's phone start ringing in my floorboard. And I look down, and there it is. And I pick it up, and it's Jackie. There her lovely face is. I was like, I'm on the way. I literally stopped in the middle of the interstate, went across the median, and just went back the other way. I didn't have time for exits. I just made a U-turn through the median and went back and got him. Got him his phone.
Sorry about that.
I didn't make it home that night. No, it doesn't matter. That was a fun trip. I didn't make it home that night. I think I made it to South Carolina. Oh, that was one of the more intense drives I think I've ever been on. I've been on some silly road trips, but that traffic was brutal. Out west, there's a lot of stretches that go on forever, and it's smooth.
New Jersey smelled bad in both directions. Now Kyle thinks it always smells like that forever. It's just,
yeah.
Didn't represent.
I'm sure, and not many states, to be fair, look beautiful from the interstate. You know, you've usually got to get off into them and explore a bit to see the cool stuff. But man, does New Jersey look terrible from the interstate. It's like industrial plants with that steam coming out of them. And like smokestacks burning, and like soap factories and shit. Like it's rough. It's rough stuff. Texas is kind of cool with the refineries. When you drive past a refinery, you don't think industrial waste or low class. You think that's where the juice comes from. That's the good stuff. They're like they burn the exhaust, and so they've got that continuous flame burning from the smokestacks. It looks cool. Like, I've fallen a lot, like you know, like doing all kinds of stupid shit and playing sports and mostly doing stupid shit, like you know, jumping off of fucking buildings and
stealing batteries,
rope swings. Well, sometimes
escaping Walmart.
That mall cop sees you with a pocket full of AAAs. You got to hit the bricks, son.
Whoa, I thought you limited your thievery to 9.
All right, I'll be honest. Batteries in general are overpriced. AA's, AAA's, car batteries, they're all overpriced.
Car batteries. You got a fucking car battery under your shirt. Walk out of there.
You get a car battery under your hoodie, you're a master thief.
Yeah, I've never stolen anything, but I did in college. We used to go to I think it's called Marshall's, that clothing store, and we used to switch the tags. They were sticky.
Oh, you've stolen them.
No, hear me out. It was broke, but we switched it.
No, I just paid less than they're worth.
You should peel it off.
We switched the tags, right? And then when I was little, I didn't steal it, but tell me if this is petty. I had one of my dudes who he had money. I grew up super broke, and like one of my favorite rappers at the time, like I think it was a DMX CD. It's Dark and Hell is Hot. That CD came out, and I was telling them about it before it got popular, right? And like I was like, yo, this new CD's coming out. I've heard some songs. It's great. Woo-de-woo. And he ended up getting it. And I was pissed at him that he got it. So I took his CD and I fucking scratched it. That's like the worst. That's the worst thing I've done.
That's
like
low.
It's bad. It's bad. I was pissed at him. It was pretty petty.
You just pissed at him because he bought something?
Well, he didn't buy it. His parents did. I was more salty at the fact that he was one of those dudes that like whatever you did, he did, like that type shit. And this one was just over the top. I couldn't take it anymore, and I was pissed. And I wanted to ruin his CD, and I did that.
So he like mentioned that he was getting the CD, or you had mentioned that you were getting the CD, and that was enough for him to get it.
Yeah. And he wasn't even into him. He just got it because I said something. And
do you have rich parents?
Yeah.
He could have done it better, right? Like if he got it, he could have been like, dude, I got this thing. I know you'll like it. You want to hear? Like,
yeah.
It didn't sound like, it sounded like
he could burn you one, right? Like burn that
now
shit.
I don't know.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I stole a kid's hearing aid one time.
Bro.
That is so fucking funny. How did you do that? Actually, he couldn't hear you sneaking up on him.
Once you get the hearing aid, you could just rob him blind. Like
by that measure, I feel like I could steal glasses. I could steal Taylor's glasses.
Oh, Anthony Jeselnik's
stealing the contacts out of my eyes.
Anthony Jeselnik's got this hilarious joke about like stealing the glass eye from the little girl who lives in his neighborhood. He's like, you gotta be real careful because you picked the wrong eye. Well, I mean that's how she ended up with the glass eye in the first place. Yeah. I was in kindergarten though, and I think the kid's like hearing aid had like the batteries had died or something because it was on the teacher's desk.
It's all
batteries, right?
And I was like, there's got to be some serious batteries inside of here. No, it looked cool, like it was one of the big hearing aids, and like to 5-year-old me, it looked like a little gadget, like a little ray gun or something. And so I snatched that fucker, and then I was at the lunch table with it, using it like a ray gun, going pew pew pew. And a teacher saw me with it, and she was like, "Where'd you get that?" And I was like, "It's mine."
it's my hearing aid.
She's like, "How'd you hear me then?"
And you were like, "Fuck, I've been fooled."
I'm 5. I don't have a witty comeback for this. So I got busted for stealing the kid's hearing aid. I guess he was going around just going meow.
No, he's going around going, "What? What?"
That's pretty bad. That's worse than scratching the CD. I feel better.
Oh, that's definitely worse.
I was
than scratching
5.
the CD.
I was 5.
Don't care.
No, terrible. You were a malicious 5-year-old.
Give me a heroic Kyle story. Give me something that you're proud of. You like, you know what? I did the right thing.
Ooh, now you're making it tough.
He's gonna go back to when he was 2.
Oh man. My sister fell in a swimming pool, was drowning once, and I sounded the alarm, and Dad got her. And he was, he stepped away, so maybe she doesn't survive if I don't yell. My dad and I were tracking a wounded deer one time, and we found it in a ravine. And my dad goes to grab the deer to drag it out, and the deer comes to life while he's holding the deer's antlers, and it's fighting with him. It's like a full-size big buck deer, and he can't let go of the deer because he's afraid it'll trample me, because I'm like maybe 5, and I didn't run away though. I stayed and tried to defend my dad with my slingshot. Of course, I'm stupid and fucking 5 years old. I should have been running so that Dad could let go of the deer. But it all worked out. The deer.
But you wanted to be honorable.
Yeah, I was shooting acorns at the fucking deer with my slingshot because I wanted to defend my dad.
Oh, so you weren't helping.
That's honorable.
I did the best I could. What I had.
Honorable.
What's an honorable story you got, Arian?
I got a bunch of them, man. I'm a good dude.
Man, but I know, but try and sift through and find just one.
All right, let me think. All right. No, that's really bad. Man, that's tough because I got a lot of them. All right, one time. It's not. I don't know.
You don't have to worry. None of this is going to come off as bragging.
No, that's what it sounds like. So it's like one time. It's okay. It's a really cool story. One time, I was in the league and I got a phone call. Well, I didn't answer. I got an answering machine. What the fuck am I saying? I got a voicemail from she sounded like an old lady, and she was just like distraught. Like, I just don't I don't think we're gonna make it this month. If you could just send $25, dear. And she was like calling somebody who I guess was the wrong number, right? She was like, Can you just send the 25? That's all I need is just the 25. If you could just send that. I think it's like Marge or something she's talking about. She's like, you said I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. And so I just felt she sounded so sincere that she was like short $25. And like, so I called her back and I gave her like, I don't know, like $300, $400. Just like,
damn.
Yeah, sent her like $300.
I kind of had the opposite thing.
That was probably that must have blown her mind. Like that probably took care of so many additional problems she had that she was like, man, I need $100 for this, $100 for that. I thought I would have this 25 for this, and now I don't even have that. Like, yeah, that's a very kind thing to do.
Yeah, I felt the opposite. Yeah, this lady called and had the wrong number.
And so you stole $300 to $400.
yeah. She was like, how's it going or whatever, and how's Jerry and oh, you ever heard? Jerry's in jail. What?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Jerry got locked up for what? Drugs again. Again.
Good guess.
Yeah. You know Jerry, and we can't bail him out. We're trying to get up to $700 to bail him out. And we don't have it. We don't have it. Well, I guess I could chip in. Well, I'm chip in nothing. We're gonna need $700. It kept it going for a while before we told her the truth. She was pretty distraught about Jerry, whoever the fuck that is.
See, now that seems mean, but you've just brought me joy. From the story. And
so many people listening. Yeah,
my dad thought it was hilarious,
and it's pretty funny.
But my mom was like, "We've got to tell her. You got to tell her that Jerry's not locked up. Whoever the fuck Jerry is."
Hey, what if he was though?
Jerry's like, I don't know. Nobody showed up. It's been. I don't know why I'm looking at my wrist because they took my watch, and it's been 2 weeks.
Did she take it well though? Was she like laughing about it?
She was worried about. Oh, she was like, well, that's not funny at all. and like me and even my mom me and my dad were rolling, but even my mom was like, well, it was a little funny. It was a little.
There's
funny.
No denying that's funny.
She's like, you didn't notice that his voice wasn't whoever you had called, and he was. Does Jerry seem like the kind of guy who's mixed up in drugs and violence? Maybe not. Hey,
he is a pharmacist. Oh my god, I had no idea. He's on the pills.
I like fucking with telemarketers, especially. And, you don't really get them like you used to. Now it's like some fucking spam machine. Shit.
It's all automated, where it's some guy who's like, "Hello, we noticed you are interested in donating to the police fund." Like some shit like that. And it's like, no, I'm not, asshole. Like,
I found out because like there's an influx of these calls. Like, I don't know if y'all was getting them too, but I get a ton. Everybody was. So the reason why is, I know that there's a reason, but the way to minimize them is to not answer it, because if the machine thinks that number's not active. But if you keep answering it, then they'll keep sending enough.
Yeah, my shit says like suspected spam. Like
I need
whenever,
that. Is that an app?
That's Android.
No, you could not survive falling on a fatter man. You'd just die slower and grosser.
Here's the thing. The thing about the elevator where you jump at just the right time? Everyone's had this idea of dealing with an elevator.
The physics don't add up for that.
Why doesn't it add up? I've been told.
Can I do it real quick? So the elevator's falling at 50 miles per hour, right? And you're in it. So you're also, I'm going to get better props. All right. So
We're tracking with it.
This is the elevator. All right, my vape is you. The phone's the elevator. We're falling at 50 miles per hour.
Hold on, slow down.
We're falling at 50 miles per hour toward our certain death. We're just about to hit the bottom, traveling 50 miles per hour, but you jump at the last second.
Let's pretend for this argument that I'm good at timing this jump.
Yeah,
you're perfect at it. In fact,
perfect timing.
But you jump at 5 miles per hour
on a good day.
So now you hit the bottom at 45 miles per hour. And
is that the issue? Does it really fall?
That is the exact
that kind of speed? Because
if you could accelerate yourself up at 50 miles per hour with like a rocket booster, like you'd be fine. I mean, there'd be an elevator exploding around you, but you would have neutralized your speed at the last
acceleration would be just as bad as the fall.
Oh, that's a good point. I was just yeah.
What do you mean?
If I could jump at 50 miles an hour, then that would be as bad as falling at 50
But the issue is
the
issue is that you're accelerating so quickly from 0 to 50 miles per hour. You're having to do that in the span of 6 inches, let's just say, from your leap. Yeah, none of this works. You just not. It doesn't work. You die.
I wouldn't think so.
But luckily, elevators are incredibly reliable in the first world, it turns out. You got to go to the Asian countries to see your elevator and escalator deaths, which is why I go to subreddits that primarily feature Asian people being sucked into escalators. I love that shit. Did you see the one the other day where this little cocksucker, this little brat, maybe 11, the escalator goes precariously close to a wall. So if you put your hand between that, that rubbery handrail, right? It's like it really grabs. You can't slip, unfortunately. So he gets his head between it and the wall, like just being a jabroni, like hanging upside down with his head stuck in but at the top, it gets really close to the wall. So his head is just jammed in, and the thing's just continuously rubbing against his neck,
pushed into the drywall.
And his mom, of course, Asian mother, right? And not just Asian mother. Yeah, she's like, it's like spanking his ass to stop, but he's dying, of course. So it's woman. And it takes a long time. Like the video, you remember Paranormal Activity where they fast forward and while you're watching the person sleep. It was like that while they were rescuing the kid, but still he's just in there upside down, being skinned alive. It was pretty hardcore. But what I really like, and you never see these coming, and they never have audio, is when the entire escalator just seemingly collapses into another dimension, and it takes the person or people with it into a black demon hole, and they're just gone.
They're just dead, crushed by an elevator.
And there's just Chinese characters at the bottom and a time stamp. That happened in 2,300 hours, huh? Some year.
some year. The year of the
rat.
Year of the rat. Yeah.
So, I guess our elevator inspectors
the year of the splat.
I can't think of an American elevator that's ever crashed. I never see that footage. I never.
Well, the reason for this is big elevator is an enormous lobby in the United States. You don't know this. It is the second, after cars, the second most common form of locomotion. Elevators.
You know what I do hear about that I don't think gets enough attention?
That's not true.
Gas pumps don't always deliver a gallon. Gas pumps are they're like, oh, look at this. Wake County, 15% of them were off by more than 10%. That's a lot of fucking gas pumps being off. They should be accurate. I'm trusting them.
That's a huge percentage.
I can't measure the gas that's going into my truck.
I wouldn't stand for that level of discrepancy buying a soda.
Right?
If it was here's your Diet Coke, it'd be wait, hold on. Ching. I can fill a lot of air in this can here, people.
You say that, but I bet you tolerate it with your potato chips with every purchase.
Yeah,
dude,
that's true. That's
your Cheez-Its. I'll take a box.
I did go a little silly with snacks the other day.
Did you?
I did. I have a lot.
Kyle wants to get it all.
Yeah. I do all my gas station stuff at the same gas station. Fuel, and if I'm getting anything, beer, whatever. Super sketchy. I don't know where these people are from. They're somewhere though.
Not here.
Not here. And he calls me my friend when I walk in.
My friend.
And Like it was cold as fuck the other day. It was 6 degrees here, and I walked in there. And he's like, "Hello, my friend. What can I do for you today?" Like, or whatever the fuck he sounds like. And I was like, "It's cold out there." He's like, "Cold. This is a small word for what it is today." I was like, that's fucking profound. Give me those blunts. Get the fuck out of here.
You didn't even respond as profound.
And they have ginger tonic for sale. Everything's behind a locked thing if you want to get a vape or something like that. And I'm kind of sketched out. I only give him my Discover card because I feel like that's the one that, like, if it gets ripped off, it'll do.
I wouldn't even steal a Discover card.
Because whenever there's one guy and he'll always be like, "Yeah, swipe your card," and I'll use like the main big machine there, right? Mm-hmm. But whenever Hakeem is there, he's like, "Use the little machine," and I'm like, "All right," but it's like way over here, like dusty and shit. Like, like what it says, green.
Yeah,
he's like, "You're good to go, then."
You're good to go. My cousin in Kama already has your information.
Fuck me, Hakeem. It
seems like this might be a cash establishment. Like maybe you should start paying cash.
What's a nighttime farming activity?
Oh man, when they catch you're there raising chickens from like little yellow peep thing to big white bird that gets butchered and thrown into frozen dinners and whatnot. And that happens over the course of 7 weeks. At the end of that 7 weeks, they show up to get them. And I don't know if you've ever considered how they get 150,000 chickens.
No, but I've seen Yellowstone.
I don't know what they do on Yellowstone. Do they have one of those machines involved?
Have you never seen that where they usher the herds of chicken across the plains?
With the
Someone tried that at one point and lost a lot of money.
Man, I really thought at least a few of them were going to
revolutionize ranching. Wait, fuck! No, don't go over there.
So what they do is, if you've ever seen like a semi truck loaded down with white big chickens,
I think I have.
Then and they're crammed in there in those big cubes, the cube cages. Essentially, what they do is they do this at night because if the chickens can't see you coming, they go docile and just kind of sit still. They do it at night in complete darkness. All the equipment in the chicken house gets raised up to the ceiling via like these drills that like winch it up. And then everything gets moved out of the way. And now you have an ocean of 25 to 40,000 7-pound chickens sitting there kind of half awake. And then they like burst the doors open and like a dozen Mexicans storm in there wearing armor and respirators. And they start grabbing them, as many as they can in a handful. They have this really crazy, I've seen them do it. Like they'll get a chicken's foot between each finger. Like one, and each chicken is held by 1 foot, so they can just reach in and have like a dozen birds in like 6 in each fist,
and they're all dressed like Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah. And they're covered. They're on the outside. They're wearing like long johns because they're doing the filthiest, scariest work ever. Yeah. And these things have talons to not. Yeah, I guess nothing scary, but if they get you, then you've got an open wound in a very filthy environment. So they're all armored up with like cloth and respirators and goggles and shit. And they're grabbing them up a dozen at a time and swinging them into those cage cubes that are being delivered and retrieved like clockwork by front-end loaders. And those front-end loader drivers, they're on methamphetamine 110% of the time. And they are fucking swinging those steel fucking forks around, and like guys are jumping out of the way. And it's just like, get the fuck out of his way then. Like
he's got a job to do.
So that's the nighttime farm. It's going in there and raising all that equipment up.
I actually honestly thought this is how it was done. Like if you had never told me, they back the truck up to the building. The door for the building is shaped and sized exactly perfect for the truck. And then they put ramps, and I really thought they just herded the chickens in like they were cattle.
No, they're shitty, dude. Like they're really, really, really stupid, and they're in a herd of 25,000.
Scary.
You can drive them with flashlights a little, but the problem is that the modern chicken isn't built to deal with a lot of excitement. They'll have heart attacks in very high numbers. Like anything that spooks them, Like when they talk about foxes getting in, they'll kill a few, but a fox can only eat so many chickens. He'll spook 1,000 of them, or even worse, he'll scare them and they'll pile up on top of each other and suffocate everything on the bottom layer. And then because they're already in a bacteria-rich environment at a high temperature and their body heat combines with that, they decompose at an incredible rate. After seeing how fast they can decompose, I mean, like 6 hours, they've turned purple and putrid. Like after seeing that, it's like in the right environment, you would think that like a human body would just disappear in like a couple weeks or something like that. If it's out there in like a filthy enough, like the right conditions, and certainly if there's predation, like if there's anything to come and take hunks out, but just like sitting there on that floor, they would turn to the most disgusting shit that you'd have to get a shovel to clean up.
How big is like this pile? I'm trying to picture like the pile of chickens. Like big enough to cause like how tall is that to cause like a purple rotting in 6 hours? I can't believe that.
Halfway up your knee. It depends how big they are, like how big each bird is. So like maybe knee high in a corner, they just pile up and die. They're fucking like they'll just a rat will come in when they're little babies, and apparently the most tender part of like a chicken is like the back of its fucking neck or something. And so it's either that or rats kill for fun, like pure enjoyment of it. Because what they would do is they would go in, and these are those little yellow peep thing. Like their wings are just like little things. The rat would come and he would kill between 100 and 150 of them in a sitting, and he would pile them up, and they would all have one wound on the back of its neck where it like fucking killed them. Maybe it like it didn't eat any of them. It was killing them for fun, or the back of the neck is the tasty bit, and I don't believe that. So it was just killing them for fun. And the cool part, not cool because it's like, oh, all those poor baby chickens that I was going to sell for meat in 7 weeks. Really, you're just mad because you got to shovel them. But it's like, he piled them up. Did he pile them up because that's fun for him and he's keeping score and he likes to see a big pile? Or did he know I was coming?
I know I was coming.
And this is a little fuck you.
I think like if you left gum wrappers and rotten eggs and shit like that the rat would take them and put them in his stash.
So this isn't in his stash. He's killing them and making a pile right there. Which means he's moving them. He's killing them from the area and he's bringing them back to this in the floor, just in the middle of the room there. He's just left your little pile. I've seen it multiple times and it's creepy. So when my dad first bought that place, someone else had allowed it to become infested with rats, and that was the problem. I was a little kid at this time, and getting rid of the rats was a real ordeal because they were smart and they stopped eating the poison after a while. So we would go in there at night and we'd flick all the lights on, 1,000 light bulbs light up, and you could see them running like a herd of them. Running from where we are back to the very rear of the building. And the rear of the building just has this flat wall. They're doors, but they're like the biggest church doors you can imagine that like swing like barn doors, like double. And there's a screen door on the inside of that big wooden door, but it's chicken wire. So they climb up that chicken wire, their little paws. So you can, when they get to the back, you can see them flowing up the wall, going into the ceilings. It's where they live. They live up in the ceiling or under the concrete pad. So we go back there and I'd have a shotgun and my dad would have a pistol. and while they were running up, it was just shooting them off the wall as they ran. We shot the doors off the building. we had to replace the doors on the building after like a while. But we shot all the rats. We would also do this thing. This is what you do on a farm because there's literally nothing to fucking do. Gassing rats was a real, just great day. So
the winner of an activity. And
I was the best rat gasser of them all. I promise. It was like in a different life. Anyway, so we take a truck. You take a truck
where that didn't go.
And you hook the exhaust up. You hook the exhaust up to a pipe, and you pump that down into the rat hole. And the rat has like made a network of like Viet Cong-esque tunnels under a big slab of concrete. And you can see there's exits on every side, 2 or 3 on every side of this square, big rectangle, really big surface, like the size of a garage, and it's out in the open. And so we jam up every hole we can see, except for 2. One we gas, the other we wait at with pistols. So I'm on the other side with like a Ruger 22 pistol in each hand, and as they run out, I'm fucking two gunning them as they as they try to get by. They're a little groggy, so that makes it easy. They're pretty fucked up from that gas, and it's all bright when they come out. It's the middle of the day, so they're easy to deal with.
Did you ever try? Did you ever try your hand at the actual gathering of the chickens like that? Like grab them by their foot?
Fuck no, that is not something that's their job. That's on that's like I don't know how else to put it. That was just their job. That's a thing that it's like out of our hands at a certain point, and it's like done. Like we don't have to worry about if they get slaughtered or if that truck careens into a ditch along the way. We'll just get average pay. One truck died. What do you get paid per truck on average? All right, we'll pay you that. Like for spillage or whatever. Like once they've laid hands on them, our job's fucking over. I don't give a shit what happens, and I'm not touching them. That's the most disgusting job in all of it. When those guys come out, man, I feel bad for those guys. You'll see them at gas stations and stuff. Like they're in a white cargo van, and it's 8, 12, always Mexican guys. I've never seen anyone else do that job because it's so rough and it must not pay well. And they are filthy. And after they've done their work, they're just in there piled up sleeping, because sometimes the job will be at my dad's farm and they'll start at night, and then the whole day will pass and they'll go again the next night, and they're just sleeping in that van out there, filthy, with no bathroom. Dad's telling me, you better not be shitting behind my building. And they got to deal with that. It's a rough job.
That sounds awful. They should get paid more. Sounds like a difficult job. I didn't know if that was one of the duties that they show up and you're like, oh, please, Dad, don't ask me to help with this one.
Fuck no, I wouldn't help if I'd been asked or told to, or that's a really shitty job. I'm telling you, it's really stressful. Like when I was getting that stupid eye operation, there was nothing I wanted less than to go in there and have them operate on my goddamn eye.
Except cancer. So it got you moving.
Except cancer. That was the only thing I wanted less than them to operate on my eye. I just like talking to the Uber driver on the way there and explaining to her why I was going. She was just like, oh no, oh no. I'm like, yeah, they're going to cut a pizza slice out of my eyelid, and then they're going to sew my eyelid back together, but there won't be enough slack maybe. So they've got to cut the corner of my eye like this to get enough slack. And then they got to sew all that up. So you're going to have stitches in your eyelid? Yeah. And this is happening now? It's where you're driving me.
It's
right now. She's like, I wouldn't go. I was like, I don't have a choice. You're taking me.
Cancer.
It's eyelid cancer. I have cancer. I have to go. She's like, oh. I'm like, so if you're the one that picks me back up later in a couple hours, I'm going to be fucked up because they're giving me some drugs today. And
I knew you would never do it for a one-off joke, but I was hoping after you broke the cancer thing that you would show back up to the show totally bald. And I don't know, in my head, that was such a funny visual. And you've got a bandana around it, you're trying to hide it. You just look sallow and shitty.
Dude, if you just worn the bandana, it would have been a decent bit.
Yeah. Just wearing the bandana.
If you had brought this up to me, I'd have gotten the bald cap and the bandana and gotten super pale for it. Gotten that pale makeup put on. But over time. Just every week, paler and paler. Cough. I'd already have a tissue ready, but cough. And then be like, and try to hide the blood.
Val Kilmer style.
Then after a while, there's an IV bag sitting on a stand right here next to me. I'm getting chemo on the show.
You have an orderly come in, check on you every so often.
Kyle, what's in that IV bag? It's just fluids. I'm feeling a little down this week. I think I got the sniffles. It's just
you don't admit it. I've just been tired recently.
Nap on the show.
Yeah,
I'm dying in front of us.
Oh, I feel so differently about the doctor than you guys do. Kyle's I don't want to be here. I absolutely want to be there. Like when I go to the doctor, it's like I have a problem. This thing is problem. This thing is sore. This thing is broken. This thing's not healing on its own. I have a problem, and I am in the presence of a problem solver. There's no place I'd rather be. Like that's always where my head is when I'm laying out my prognosis to the doctor.
I mean, I was happy to be there.
Prognosis.
Like I was happy that being there was an option, right? I went as soon as possible. Like when we went the first time and they just cut a slice of it off, that really hurt. Like I always say this, but I think I'm pretty good with pain. I didn't flinch, but as they were doing it, my toes were curling.
Why couldn't they give you a painkiller?
They just wouldn't.
What dickheads?
Dude. Because like the painkiller is going to have to be a shot into my eyelid.
Yeah.
So, wait. They did give me a shot into my eyelid. That's what hurt. Now, I'm remembering correctly now. So they gave me a Valium, which is it's supposed to relax you a little bit. Look, you're dealing with someone who has relaxed themselves quite a lot in their life. I don't even notice a fucking Valium.
Can I interrupt?
All right.
If you're a pot smoker, you're supposed to tell your anesthesiologist that because you need more. So
I hadn't smoked in so long.
Well, I don't know how that
maybe I've numbed the part of my body that gets numbed.
I actually got high 30 minutes ago. I'm high right now. You better dose me up.
So but when they stuck that needle in my fucking eyelid, my toes were curling. I just went, "Argh!" And they went, little pinch here. And I went, it feels like you're stabbing an ice pick into my goddamn eyelid. It hurts so fucking much.
Damn, you know what I hate? This is something I hate. Surprise medicine. Do not fucking surprise me. If it hurts, tell me it hurts. I want to prepare for this mentally. If they say a little pinch and they know goddamn well this is worse than a bee sting, don't lie to me. And sure as fuck, don't do this. Don't surprise me with your needle. Right? That doesn't. Yeah, this doesn't really happen to me as an adult, but as a teenager or something, oftentimes they I don't know if they just stuck me when I wasn't looking or didn't tell. I like to be informed. That's my happy spot. I want to know when it's coming. I want to I do so much better informed. I can be a little anxious and lay it out for me. Don't get the surprise medicine bullshit is not good bedside manner. Not for me.
My thing at the doctor is to just railroad them at the end of the appointment saying that because I am an adult, I deserve 4 suckers. I wait if that's the distribution method. Danny's frozen. Yeah.
I was like, Danny hasn't blinked in a long time.
Oh, I didn't even notice he was frozen. I thought he was listening attentively.
Yeah, me too.
This evening.
Let's all sit like Danny.
Yeah.
Very pensive.
So but the worst part of that whole ordeal was, they took the little they cut the wart off, the actual cancer part off.
It was a pie wedge, right?
Well, first they just cut the wart off. Like it was just this little bump on my eyelid. And then they were like, you're all good. We're going to test it, of course, but that's not cancer. Like I know cancer when I see it. That's not cancer. And I'm like, well, fucking great. Cause you did a great job. Like there's zero scarring. It looks great. You shaved it off even with the eyelid. It's perfect. And then, of course, a week later, my dad's over here, and they call me and they're like, Dr. blah, 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 I need you to come in. He wants to consult with you about the test. And I'm like, could he just tell me right now? Just get him on the phone and get him to tell me right now. I was like, is he there? She's like, hang on a minute, I'll see. And he comes on and he's like, yeah, I need you to come in. I want to talk to you about this. I was like, just tell me. Just tell me right now. He's like, well, it's cancer. I'm just like, fuck.
Don't worry, though, the best kind you can have.
I don't know why they would have thought their plan A was a better plan. Who would be like, you know what? Yes, suspense. Let's do a little suspense. That's what I need from you. No, that. I don't see how that's good ever.
Yeah, if you're just trying to get another copay out of me, like for showing up, I'll give you the $100. But tell me right fucking now what it is and what we're going to do about it, and let's schedule the next appointment. And that's what we did. We literally, he was like, we're going to call you and schedule the surgery. Surgery will be like this. it's like 99.9% effective. Like you've got the bitch of cancers, it's basal cell carcinoma. And I was, all right, great. So then I walk back in the living room, my dad's there, and I'm like, so that was my doctor. Got a little bit of cancer.
Don't worry, it's a good kind. And
yeah, he reacted really well to it. I don't know if I ever told my mom. I don't think my mom still knows.
Never told her.
I don't think I ever told her because like I didn't want her to worry, and like she's not good with stressful shit. But my dad was just like, "All right, well, sounds like it's gonna be all right then." I was like, "Yeah, it's cancer light, they say, so shouldn't be a problem."
It's good.
I do like that cancer survivor is on your resume now. Like of your list of things you've done.
I wish you would bring that up so much more.
You're a professional dancer, and I'm a cancer survivor, and I'll hear nothing to the contrary.
They should let us do open carry because the fact is, the person that's open carrying is usually not the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I told them when they arrested me. I was like,
what? Wait a minute. Did I miss a part of this story?
Oh, yeah, I guess you did. All right. All right. So, I got my carry permit when I was 21 and, went ahead and, strapped my 9mm on, went to Walmart. My cousin and I both were carrying, had them strapped on our sides, and we're playing Guitar Hero back in the electronics section. Now, given it was 1 a.m, but I mean, what are you going to do? We're in Georgia. It's 1 a.m. Let's go play some Guitar Hero at Walmart. Anyway, apparently my cousin had slept with the manager's wife at some point. That's a whole other story, but manager doesn't like us. So he calls the cops, and we're walking away from the electronics section, and I glance behind me, and there's 3 cops. And I'm like, this would be a good chance for me to show them my license. I hope they ask about the guns. And this cop goes, whoa,
so let me interrupt.
Whoa.
Are you open or concealed carrying at this point?
Open. It's strapped on my hip like I'm Wyatt Earp.
Okay.
This guy goes, whoa. What you boys doing with them guns strapped on? And I'm like, I wanted to say the same thing you're doing with a gun strapped on, but it didn't seem like a good idea this time. So I was like, we've got permits. We're just playing some Guitar Hero. And at this point, they've kind of surrounded us, and they've already taken Scott's gun away from him and handcuffed him. And I'm like, whoa. What you handcuffing Scott for? So I'm like, so the cop reaches, takes my gun out of my holster, and he looks at it, he's like, he's got 1 in the chamber, and they all like look at each other and nod like it's a bad thing. I want to be like, don't you have 1 in the chamber? Like,
yeah, right.
So if I have to cycle a fucking round, I'm like, so I pull my license out of my wallet, and I'm like reading on the back of the license. It literally has word for word, like copied right out of the Georgia law book. It's basically kind of like the Second Amendment almost. It's like, this right will not be infringed. Like the hand of God came down and wrote it. And it's like so obvious. It says that you can't take the gun to a public gathering. Now, who here thinks Walmart is a fucking public gathering? No. Walmart is a store. Retail, it is a privately owned store, and you can walk in Georgia and in and about half the states, it's about 24, I think. You can strap on a gun if you have a proper licensing, and in some states you don't even need any licensing. And you can walk into a bank, a Walmart, a liquor store, anywhere like that with the gun strapped on. The exception to the rule is bars that get, or I should say businesses that get more than like a certain percentage of their toll from alcohol sales, which basically, like you can go to an Applebee's, which is a bar and grill, but you can't go to a bar. Like parades, political events, for obvious reasons.
Things where you buy tickets.
Football games, yeah, that sort of thing. And this dumb fucking cop is like, he arrests us. It's 4 a.m. till we get out, and we're sitting there, and like this guy was a cocksucker. This guy was the biggest jerk. We're in there getting fingerprinted and having our pictures taken, and the cop in there is a nice guy, and this douche cop keeps like sticking his head in the room. And he's like, "These boys ain't giving you no trouble, are they?" And he like looks at us like we're fucking hardened criminals. He's like, "No, these guys don't want to give us any trouble." He comes back later. He's like, "Want you boys to know, you ain't getting your guns back." And I'm like, fuck, it's a $600 pistol. And he like comes back later. He's like, "Want you boys to know, you won't be getting them licenses back neither." I'm like, God damn, this guy's a cop. Anyway, we get done with that part of the thing, and we're sitting in the lobby out there. They decided not to put us in the lockup because my uncle was coming to bail us out. And you can see on this screen like what's going on in the back room. And there's like 6 black guys back there, and they're not in cells. They're in like a community area. and they're having a fucking ball back there. They got their shoes taken off, beating the shit out of walls, throwing furniture around. And I'm like, is that where you were going to put us if my uncle wasn't coming? He's like, yep. I'm like, God damn, I'm glad Dwight's on the way. You have to give me my gun back if I'm going in there.
Did you have to get your gun back?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I get to the judge, and the judge is just as much a clueless dumbass as the cops were. I didn't get a lawyer because I didn't think I needed one because it was such an obvious mistake on their part. I had to basically open the law book up that he had and read the fucking law to the judge and make him say it out loud, make him read it out loud for the recorder before he would let us go. Cause he was just gonna read it silently and then say that we were still guilty. I was like, no, read it out loud so that it's on the record. And once he read it out loud, we got out of it. And I'm not gonna lie, I had a fucking panic attack when he started talking about giving us a year in jail and a $25,000 fine. I was like, I basically passed out. I turned white.
Why didn't you conceal carry?
I didn't see any point.
Do you now?
I don't carry it at all now. Keep it in the truck.
Yeah,
Scott does. Scott sticks it in his belt buckle. He just sticks it in the front of his pants.
My concealed carry license seems to be a lot different than yours, Kyle. Mine basically gives the make, model, the caliber, and the serial number of my carry gun, which is my 1911. I have my right thumbprint signature on it, and it has on the front of it has my picture, my birth, and all this other mess. And it has it has the Conway Police Department's number on it in case my card ever gets lost or, stolen.
Yeah.
That is a lot different than North Carolina.
Yeah, mine just has my information. There's no picture, there's a thumbprint, and it's laminated. And I can carry any gun. I mean, here's the way the law is written. I can literally take my AR-15, strap it on my back, hold an MP5 in my hand, put on army fatigues with face paint, and walk into Walmart, and that's perfectly legal.
Wait, MP5 is full auto, isn't it?
Doesn't matter. I've got the licensing.
Oh, do you have a full auto license?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
See, in South Carolina, it's a lot different. See, we can conceal carry. We can't open carry unless it's our own property or a private residence. Like if I go into a gun store and they know me by name, I can open carry there. But if I go to Walmart, I can't open carry in Walmart. But I can conceal carry in Walmart because they don't have the conceal carry no signs on the front of the door. Generally, places like that will have no guns allowed, round posted big old square box on the front of the door.
Yeah.
And we're allowed to have them loaded in the chamber. We can have them in the truck at all times, loaded with the chamber. Whatever you want to do. That's just a South Carolina law. I guess it changes state to state.
Mine doesn't work in South Carolina. Go ahead, Brittany. I'm sorry.
Do you guys all live in the South?
I'm in Georgia, Wings is South Carolina, and Woody's North Carolina. So we got our little corner of the Eastern Seaboard taken up.
Okay. That's going to say it's a lot different up here. You don't really find people carrying guns up here.
So where are you? What state are you in?
Seattle, Washington.
At baseball games when they do the national anthem, do they not play it on a banjo? Because that's how it is here.
Really?
No. Please rise.
Yeah, so I live in North Carolina, but I grew up in Jersey, so I've seen both. Jersey's a state where you can't. You have to be somebody special to get a license to carry there.
Oh.
Officer of the court or law enforcement.
All you need $80 in 8 hours.
If you can prove that you're being chased, like if you're a good scenario would be like a woman who's broken up and her husband's stalking her or something like that, then you can
Your mic fucked up.
sometimes get a care.
I bet you Woody's mic's fucking up. It's going to be the biggest laughs of the podcast.
Yeah. All right, I want to. Woody, are you there? Is your mic working now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good deal. All right, I wanted to get this out there. All right, this is a story. This happened in Philadelphia. These two guys were hanging out at the Phillies game. 21-year-old Matthew Clemens is the guy's name, and apparently him and his buddy were basically spitting and cursing at people at the Phillies game. They were drunk as shit, obviously, and they're just spitting on random people and cursing at them. So in the row in front of them, there is a cop and his 11-year-old daughter, And the cop apparently got a hold of the security or whatever, and they're like, these guys are being douches, they're spitting on people. So the security takes one of the guys away and escorts him out of the building. In response, 21-year-old Matthew Clemens projectile vomits on the cop and his 11-year-old daughter on purpose. Captain Michael said, quote, "It was the most vile, disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life."
You know, based off the picture that accompanied this article, I think Captain Michael's represented on his ass too.
Did he get hurt? Is the vomit guy like broken nosed or something?
His eye looks like Rocky Balboa got a hold of him.
I saw one story where this woman was being raped, and two guys like saw the thing in progress, so they pulled him off of her, and then they detained him until the police were able to show up. And then you saw a picture, and oh my god, he had two black eyes, a broken nose, a cut on his forehead. They detained the crap out of him while the police were coming. It was inspiring to see.
Yeah, a similar story is, I remember one time, this was like not too long after 9/11, and most people probably won't remember this little story because it kind of got swept under the rug, and God knows what happened to this guy. This guy stood up in the middle of a flight, and it was an Arabic guy, and he tried to open the door. He tried to open the door mid-flight and depressurize the cabin. And this wasn't just a crazy, this was someone who was like trying to take the plane down. And that's what it said in the article. It was like, Mohammed Jafar IV of Saudi Arabia was detained by passengers. They detained the shit out of this guy. They were like getting some revenge for 9/11. They beat the fuck out of this dude. I'm telling you, he looked just like Rocky Balboa after Rocky IV. They messed him up. It was good shit. I was like, man, I wish I was on that plane.
Y'all talk about detaining and all. This makes me go back to the guns thing, because it's another gun law in South Carolina. Like, if somebody robs your house and you don't shoot him, but you detain him, like with the pistol, like say you come up, you pull the gun, he's got a knife or something, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, you got to shoot him in self-defense. That's the legal thing.
If you don't shoot the guy, you go to jail.
So get this. North Carolina is kind of funny in this way. If the guy's in your house, then it has to be a self-defense situation. Like, if he's in your house stealing your toaster and headed toward the door, or even not headed toward the door, just headed toward the living room, that's not a cause for shooting the guy. However, if he's in the process of entering your house, like let's say he's pounding on the door or breaking a window, open fire. You're good to go.
So his presence in your house isn't a threatening matter, and you don't feel you can't fear for your life, but him wanting to come in is.
Exactly.
Here's how I've always looked at this, and what I'm about to say may be played in court one day by the prosecution. If I catch him in the house and he's like stealing a toaster, that's one thing. But if I catch him in the house and he's like trying to murder me, like he's got a knife in his hand or something like that, I'm killing him. All right. Even if he dropped the knife and he was like, please don't kill me, I'm killing him. And then I'm going to put the knife back in his hand, and then I'm going to call the cop.
I was the same way. I'll shoot his ass first and make up stories for the cops later.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? If I'm the only witness, I'm telling the story. So you, my friend, are going down. I've got 12 rounds in here, and I'm going to use them all.
12 rounds? What's that, a 40?
It's a 9mm with an extended mag.
My 9 has 17. It's not extended.
What the fuck? Not on a Ruger.
My 9 has 17 too.
Beretta. Yeah, that's a Beretta, right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I've always wanted a Beretta. Oh well, I might even hold him at gunpoint till I can go get a bigger gun. You know what I mean? Point the pistol at him.
Recliner. You sit in a bad recliner. Don't sit in my nice white leather one.
Be like, sit down. It's like, dude, don't call the cops. Oh, I'm not. Let me go.
Let me open the safe over here. I'm trying to get you some money.
I'm taking you out with style, buddy.
I've always wanted to see what a 3.5-inch slug would do to a man. What do you say? Nothing.
You know what? I figured if I kill you with this pistol, they're going to need it for evidence. I'm going to get one I don't like so much. Hang on.
Yeah, right. This Mosin Nagant didn't cost anything. You're going down.
See, what's fucked up is I couldn't stab him with the bayonet attachment on the Mosin Nagant.
I've got a bayonet on my SKS. I've always wanted to stab somebody.
I just want to see. I want to see if the shape of the bayonet actually causes the body not to suck onto it. Because the Russian bayonet is designed with like triangles. That way, so when you stab the person, the heat of his body will actually seal to the blade, and it was harder to pull out. So they have triangles so air can get up into the wound, and so it's easier to pull out.
Yeah, my SKS bayonet has that little groove down the center of the barrel, and that's what that's for. Not the barrel, the blade, the bayonet itself. It's got like a groove cut down the side of the blade, and I would assume that's what it's for. But I'm thinking you do it like I heard this Medal of Honor winner talk about like jumping into a foxhole full of the Japanese in World War II, and he said he bayoneted the first guy and then shot him as he was pulling the bayonet out, and then like went down the line through the trench, killed him. He killed like 18 guys. It was some incredible story.
Now, see, if I was in that situation, I would be scared to bayonet the first person. Scared I couldn't get it out.